Welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio, 27 April 2025. We begin tonight's broadcast with Jerry of the Circus. We have Gun Will Travel, Richard Diamond, Soldier of the Press, Dr. Kildare, Bing Crosby and Rosemary Clooney, and great scenes from great plays. And we close with another episode of Plum House. Let's get started.
Jerry of the Circus.
Hello, Mr. Randall. What you doing around here? Watching Rags' act?
Well, now, I hadn't thought of it. Guess it's a pretty good idea now that you've reminded me.
He's got a new trick that's a fifth.
I'm glad to hear it, Jerry. As a matter of fact, I'm hanging around to see Patsy's new stunt.
Well, of course. I should have thought of that.
Hi, Mr. Randall. It looks like we're in for a big blow.
I hope not, Bill. I noticed the wind coming up after lunch.
There they go in their walk-around now.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, I bet Rags is glad to be working again.
You think he missed it?
Oh, I'm sure he did. He used to whine and cry like a baby if I didn't bring him around the backyard during the show.
Dogs are certainly funny.
There he goes now. Gee, he's sure great. Hey, did you see that somersault, Mr. Randall?
Can't say as I did, son.
Oh, gee, you shouldn't have missed it.
I'm looking at those swings and ropes and trappings hanging from the top of the tent.
Where? Oh, good night. Look at him swing.
I'm afraid that wind's getting pretty heavy.
Hey, what about Patsy's new trick?
I know. That's what I'm doing around here during the show. Well, now let's see how Rags is doing.
Oh, gee, he's most through. Here they come now.
My golly, that dog jumps like...
Patsy says he jumps like a kangaroo.
He does, at that. Pretty cute dog. He's getting to be quite an attraction.
It was sure nice of you to let him work with Funk.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I don't put things into my show to be nice to people, much as I'd like to. After all, my first problem is to please the audience.
Of course.
So they have to come first. If I find something good, I put it in because I think the audience will like it.
And if the audience doesn't seem to like it...
I take it right out again.
Then I guess Rags is pretty good to still be allowed to work. Oh, Rags, your act is over. I'm ashamed of you. What'll Mr. Randall think?
He certainly knows how to beg forgiveness.
It's almost... Well, sometimes I just think I can't say no to him.
I can see how hard it must be. Where'd Bumps go?
Guess he went right to the wagon to change.
Mm-hmm.
He often does when I'm here to pick up Rags. Oh, gee, here comes Patsy now. Hi, Patsy.
Hello. Oh, how are you, Mr. Randall?
Fine, thank you. Patsy, about that new act of yours.
Yes, Mr. Randall?
It's a pretty bad wind.
Oh, I've worked in winds before.
I know, but don't you think it's a bad time to try out a new act?
Well, you've announced it in the programs, haven't you?
No, yes, but that doesn't matter.
Oh, yes, it does. When you promise the public something, you've got to give it to them.
Not if I risk hurting any of my performers.
Oh, now, don't you worry, Mr. Randall. I have the net, so there's no real danger. I've only been in the business long enough to take any falls if necessary.
Yes, but I don't want you to.
And now, ladies and Randall Brothers Circus takes great pleasure in bringing to you that renowned little artist, Patsy of the Air. This gorgeous little lady, for the first time, will bring to her public a new and hazardous trick. Mademoiselle Patsy, in her latest and most spectacular feat of the air.
Golly, Mr. Randall, she's pretty, isn't she?
Pretty and clever.
And brave.
Mm-hmm.
Looks kind of little out there all by herself.
But that when this is over.
Well, she's taken off her robe.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, the audience sure likes her.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, I wonder what she thinks about when she lets go of those trapezes and turns in the air before catching on to the other rod.
I asked her that once, Jerry.
Oh, what did she say?
She says she always wonders if she left the trapeze swinging straight.
That's funny.
Not a bit. It's the natural thing for her to think about.
Well, why?
Well, if she's left it perfectly straight, it'll surely be right for her return trip as she flies across that great empty space.
Oh, of course. And if it's twisted, I suppose it might swing kind of uneven.
And she'd probably miss.
Golly, must be an awful lot to remember up there. And look, she does it so easy, just like flying.
That's why she's the greatest little aerialist in the business. But she's been training at it since she was a baby.
It must be time for that new trick.
Yep.
Mr. Randall.
Yes, Jerry?
The wind's coming up again. Look at those trappings.
I know.
She's ready.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Why's she waiting?
Oh, nothing. She's just waiting for that trapeze to right itself.
Golly. There she goes. Mr. Randall, she slipped.
Oh.
Oh, gee, she fell. Golly, look at her bouncing that net.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
Yeah, but why? Why, even in rehearsal, she never slipped. She took her fall nice anyhow.
I bet she did.
She sure climbs up there fast.
You can't keep the audience waiting too long.
She's going to try it again.
Yeah.
Honest, I'm as scared as if I had to jump off that platform.
Yeah, I'm sort of nervous myself.
There she goes. Gee whiz, a somersault and a half turn, and another somersault.
Oh.
Oh, gosh, what a shame. I'll bet she feels terrible.
And she couldn't help it that time, Jerry. That canvas top blew her trapeze off at an angle.
Gee, Mr. Randall, don't you think she ought to stop trying?
No, she can't now. It's too late.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, when you once start a trick in front of your audience, you have to keep on until you get it right.
But when there's a wind...
No, it doesn't matter. Either you mustn't attempt a trick or else you must keep at it until you do it right.
But that seems awful.
Mr. Randall's right, Jerry.
Oh, hello there, Mr. Bradley. I didn't see you. Gee, Patsy's having an awful time.
Ah, she's ready. Good.
Well, 2 somersaults and 2 half turns. Oh, what a...
Boy, she made it. She made it, Mr. Randall. Oh, boy, she just... Mr. Randall. Gosh,
Quiet, Jerry. Quiet. Not so loud.
I'm sorry. Be quiet, Rags. Oh, Jiminy Willikers, that was something. Aren't you proud of her, Mr. Randall?
She's a grand little trooper. Fine performer. Of course I'm proud of her, Jerry.
A gifted little lady. Oh, youth. How wonderful it is to be young with the whole world at your feet.
Here she comes now. Aw, Patsy, you were wonderful.
Nice work, Patsy.
Oh, Mr. Randall, I'm so sorry. I missed it twice. Well, I haven't done a thing like that since...
My dear child, it was all right. With that wind blowing, all those trappings around, it's beyond me how you made the performance at all, let alone a new turn.
Oh, but twice to fall. I feel terrible.
Let me be the first to congratulate you, Miss Patsy, for a truly great performance. Why, in the face of great adversity, you never for a moment lost faith.
Mr. Bradley, you go on here.
What's that? Oh, yes, of course, Jerry. Oh, you see, even my faithful friend Lulu is at my heels ready. Oh, alas, I fear the years are taking their toll.
Oh, he's a dear.
Yeah, and I'm afraid he's getting pretty old for this kind of life. If it weren't for... well.
For what, Mr. Randall?
I'm afraid I can't tell you. It's personal, regarding only Mr. Bradley and his son. And I'm afraid this will be the last season I'll be able to let him stay.
Oh, Mr. Randall, but Mr. Bradley...
Yeah, I know, my boy. But remember what I told you about the public. They are the first to be considered.
Oh, but they love him. See, listen to them.
You're right, Patsy. He's a grand old trooper, and I'm proud to have him with us.
Jerry!
Yeah? What is it?
Whitey's calling for you. He needs some help. The wind's doing some damage, and the horses are nervous.
Gee whiz. Say, goodbye, Mr. Randall. I got some work to do.
Oh, goodbye, Jerry. He's a great little kid, that.
Jerry? Oh, he surely is. And thrilled to death when there's something he can do.
Patsy.
Yes, Mr. Randall?
I want to thank you for your nice performance this afternoon.
Oh, but I...
You didn't let me down, and you didn't let the audience down.
Oh, but Mr. Randall...
Yeah, I know. You think you didn't give a finished performance. That wasn't your fault.
I know that, but still...
As a matter of fact, you know this business well enough to know the advantage of falling now and then.
Oh, you mean it makes the audience think the trick is harder?
Hmm.
And when you finally do it, they think they've seen something more difficult than it really is.
That's it. Now, I've never gone in for fooling the public that way. Lots of show folks do it as a matter of routine.
Yes, I know.
But when it happens, because of things we can't help...
You mean that it made it even more exciting for the folks?
Exactly.
I was too upset to think about that, I guess.
Yeah, so you see... Now, you just stop worrying and get to your dressing wagon and rest.
Thanks, Mr. Randall. You know, I think you're one of the nicest people in the world.
Well, Patsy...
And I'm proud to be working for you. Goodbye.
Well, I'll be...
Mr. Randall. Mr. Randall.
Oh, why, Johnny, what's the matter?
A catastrophe has just occurred.
Well, now take it easy, old man. It can't be as bad as all that.
Oh, but it is. The worst. What I have always feared has befallen me.
Oh, no, Johnny, please, what's this all about?
You remember my telling you all about my son?
Why, yes, of course. Well, funny, it crossed my mind a little while ago.
Well, he's here today.
What do you mean?
He lives here in Jackson City, and he's...
You mean he's out in the audience?
Yes, out there. It's the first time it's ever happened. Oh, but why would he be here in the afternoon?
That's right. Yes, you say he's a lawyer. Perhaps he had a day off.
But he takes his work so seriously. Oh, but that's all quite beside the point. What am I to do?
What do you mean?
Well, I can't
No, I just can't go on again, Mr. Randall.
Why, nonsense, Johnny. He'll never recognize you. Not in that crazy costume and that face painted on
No,
you.
no, of course not. But the Shakespearean act, that I cannot do.
I don't see how he could possibly recognize
Oh,
you.
but he will. Oh, you don't understand, Mr. Randall. Dick was brought up in the theater. His whole boyhood was backstage. He knows my old Shakespearean roles almost as well as I do.
Oh, I think hearing you in those lines would...
I assure you, Mr. Randall, he couldn't fail to recognize me. He knows how I read every line I've ever played. He was brought up hearing me rehearse from the moment he woke up till he fell asleep in my dressing room at night.
I hardly know what to say.
Would you let the boy go on? Oh, please. He knows enough of the lines. And after all, it's a matinee.
I know, and most are children. They wouldn't appreciate the act as much as the adult audience anyhow.
May heaven shower you with blessings, Mr. Randall.
Jack, run over to the horse tent and tell Jerry to come here as quick as possible.
Yes, Mr. Randall. Oh, thank you, Mr. Randall. I'll never forget this as long as I live.
Well, that's all right, Johnny. Now, you don't think there's any danger of this happening again?
Oh, no, I'm sure there isn't. You see, now that he's caught the show, he won't come again. And, of course, once we leave Jackson City behind us...
there's no danger of his recognizing her name in the program?
No, Mr. Randall. You see, I didn't give you my true name.
Oh?
It's John B. Grayson.
Not the Great Grayson?
Bradley was my mother's name, sir.
Well, I can hardly believe my ears. The Great Grayson, a clown in my circus.
But you'll never breathe a word of this.
On my word of honor.
He's gone, Mr. Randall. Jerry left the horse tent a few minutes ago.
Well, find him. Get all the men to search the grounds at once. Jerry must be found. He's got to go on in Johnny Bradley's place in 15 minutes.
My gun was handcrafted to my specifications. I rarely draw it, unless I mean to use it.
Have Gun, Will Travel. Starring Mr. John Daner as Paladin. San Francisco, 1875. The Carlton Hotel, headquarters of a man called Paladin.
Oh, Mr. Paladin.
Yes?
About that imported silk shawl you ordered as a gift for a lady.
Oh, yes. Very pretty.
But you didn't say about the color. Is it for a blonde or a brunette?
Why, I'm not sure yet. Perhaps you'd better leave one of each. Just tell the clerk at the desk to charge them to my bill.
Of course. Thank you, Mr. Paladin.
Ah, there you are, hey boy.
Oh, yes, Mr. Paladin. I have two messages for you. One from San Francisco City Jail. Mr. Holgate say he get your card and want you to come see him.
Oh, yes, he's the murderer who's afraid he'll be lynched when they take him back to stand trial in some little town in Wyoming.
Oh, and he say you better hurry. Sheriff come here and take him away on 9 o'clock train tonight.
And the other message?
Ah, pretty lady wait for you.
Huh?
Over there.
Oh, it's too bad.
What I tell her, Mr. Paladin?
Give her my sincere regrets, hey boy. Tell her later. I have a train to catch.
Even if you've had embarrassing dandruff for years, you can get rid of it now in 3 minutes. That's all it takes with Fitch Dandruff Remover Shampoo. Yes, unsightly dandruff's gone in 3 minutes with Fitch, quickest, easiest of all leading shampoos. What's more, using Fitch regularly is guaranteed to keep embarrassing dandruff away. Just apply in the unique Fitch manner. Before you wet hair, rub in 1 minute. This way, Fitch shampoo penetrates right down to the scalp. Next, add water. Lather 1 minute to wash every trace of dandruff out of your hair. Then rinse 1 minute. All that loosened dandruff goes down the drain. In 3 minutes, with Fitch, one rubbing, one lathering, one rinsing, dandruff's gone. At the same time, Gentle Fitch can leave your hair up to 35% brighter. To get rid of dandruff problems forever, brighten hair too, use Fitch regularly. Get Fitch Dandruff Remover Shampoo today, only 59 cents.
You just made it, mister. Hey, give you a hand with that bag?
No, thanks. I can manage.
You carry it like it was eggs. Most room up in the front.
Say, what's going on in there?
Why, I don't know. It's that murderer. He's loose. Look out.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Get out of the way.
You seem to have gotten tangled up in an iron clothesline.
Get out of my way, you crazy fool.
Yes.
Stop, Holgate. Stop right there. I'll blow you in half with this shotgun. Oh, you clumsy fool.
Well, Sheriff, why didn't you just pull the trigger and end it right here? You might as well have.
You just get back to your seat real careful like. Take them leg irons off to make you more comfortable. You pay me back by kicking me in the head. You just catch me trying to be decent to you again. All right, now sit down. Take your leg out. And to you, mister, thank you.
Glad to be of help to an officer of the law.
You're only helping a man get lynched, that's all.
Shut up, Holgate.
If you don't mind, Sheriff, I'd like to talk to your prisoner.
Oh, sure. Sit.
Thank you. Mr. Holgate, you got my card. I got your message.
You're Paladin? I figured you to be on my side.
Who'd you say you was, mister?
The name is Paladin. And your name?
Sheriff Swink.
Oh, what is this, a cozy chat? Listen, Paladin, I hired your gun to turn me loose.
You're hired to turn him loose?
Mr. Holgate has his facts slightly confused. Would you mind pointing that some other way, please, Sheriff? Thank you. Now, Mr. Holgate, what makes you think you'll be lynched?
Easy. The town's named Bender, after Max Bender. It was his son caught my bullet.
How did you come to shoot him?
Oh, just an argument in a saloon, a few drinks. You know how it is.
He had a gun?
Well, he had one.
Oh, sure. It was home, on his dresser.
Well, how'd I know that? I didn't notice.
I see. Well, Mr. Holgate, tell you what I'll do. For $200, I'll see that you're delivered alive to stand trial.
You call that a bargain?
Man has a chance with a fair trial, but there's no debating a lynching bee.
All right. You'll get the money when I step into the courtroom.
And just to be sure, I'll choose somebody to hold the fee. When's the trial, Sheriff?
Circuit judge is due at the end of the week. We'll beat him there by, a day, maybe.
And what are the chances of my employer here being lynched?
I reckon somebody's going to try.
Will you stop it?
Well, that'd be a hard decision to make.
But I can assume we're on the same side. Aren't we, Sheriff?
I reckon.
That puts two of us on the side of the right.
Well, don't crow, mister. Them ain't good odds with the whole town on the other side.
I never did like this town.
Don't worry, you won't be here long.
At least there's not a mob to meet us.
Nope. Just the Benders over there.
Who are they?
Max Bender, his daughter Amy. The town is named after the old man. Howdy, Max. Miss Amy.
Hello, Sheriff.
How'd you know we'd come in on this train?
We waited on every train. I wanted to see the man who killed my son.
He's going to have a trial, Max.
Yeah.
My brother didn't have a trial.
Now, Amy.
Or a smart lawyer who might trick him to freedom or get him off with a prison sentence.
But the man who killed him will have a trial.
Who are you?
Paladin's my name. Mr. Holgate hired me to see that he isn't lynched.
So the gunfighters are all for law and order now, if the pay is right.
No, Miss Bender, you don't buy law and order. You fight for it.
Yes. Once you have it, you don't throw it away.
Your father knows how hard law is to come by.
There will be no trial. Your neighbors will come for him, Sheriff. I know you'll do what's right.
I think he will, miss. And so will you.
Seven nights a week on CBS Radio, most of these same stations present The World Tonight. On The World Tonight, ace CBS newsmen broadcast direct from where the news is developing, along with well-detailed eyewitness reports on current events. The World Tonight brings you lively interviews with people in the news. When big things are happening in London, Paris, Moscow, Tokyo, or Rome, they're all within speaking distance on The World Tonight. For a penetrating look beneath the surface of the news, CBS Radio invites you to hear Eric Severide's news analysis. Wise in the ways of the news, Eric Severide explores a particular and important aspect each weekday evening. Invariably, he comes up with new keys to understanding. Always interesting, always illuminating, Eric Severide's perceptive news analysis makes an exciting companion piece to The World Tonight. Listen for both of these fine news features regularly.
Oh, you can relax, Holgate. You're safe in there. Temporarily, anyways.
Yeah, but they'll be swarming around soon enough. You remember you got a job, Paladin.
To keep you from getting lynched, I'll remember.
Greetings, gentlemen. Just passing by and saw the light. Figured you were back.
Howdy, Mr. Coombs.
Holgate.
You didn't waste no time, Coombs.
My client and I must start preparing our defense. Oh, who are you?
He's all right. I've hired his gun. Name's Paladin.
Oh? Well, now, if we can have some privacy.
Oh, sure. Prisoner's got a right to have counsel with his lawyer. Just rap on the bars when you're through.
Oh, sure.
We still have some business details to arrange, Holgate. You tell your lawyer to turn the fee over to the person I name.
I'll tell him.
Sheriff, you mind if I bed down on one of these cots in your office?
Oh, it's all right. Then I'll be using the other.
I thought it was settled. We're on the same side.
I'd just like to be sure.
Any place I can lock this up?
Roll top desk has got a key.
Good, it'll do.
Hey, well, what's in that bag anyways?
Just some of the tools of my trade.
What kind of tools is that?
The kind that might help quiet a lynch mob.
We give 'em Holgate. That'll quiet 'em.
I thought we were on the same side.
We are.
I'd just like to be sure. Which one is the Bender store, Mr. Coombs?
That one, up there.
Yeah, there's a noose hanging out in front.
Yes, that's Amy's doing.
Is she stirring the pot until it boils over?
I never suspected she had such a mean streak in her. She was always such a nice, quiet girl.
I guess it's frustrating for a woman. She can't strap on a gun and settle an affair like this with her own hands.
Oh, I hope this won't take too long. I have more important things to do.
Like figuring a way to save your client?
Something like that, yes. Shall we go in?
Bring him up right now. Who's that with Coombs?
Well, what do you want here?
I want you to hold some money for me, Mr. Coombs.
Here it is. $200.
You're not to give it to me until Holgate steps into the courtroom for trial. If he dies before then, return it to Coombs.
You think I'll hold your blood money?
Blood money for keeping a man alive?
I'll hold that for you.
Dad.
Give it to me.
Thank you, Mr. Bender. Give him the money, Mr. Coombs.
Very well. There you are, Max.
Dad, if you won't help us, at least stay out of it.
How can I do that, Amy? I live in this town, too. Good day, Mr. Paladin.
Good day, sir. Amy, your father is a very wise man.
Excuse me. I guess you don't need me anymore. I'll be in my office, Paladin. Miss Amy?
Look, Mr. Paladin, I just want Holgate to pay for my brother's murder. I don't want anybody else to get hurt.
So far, no argument.
Now, Sheriff Swink's not going to shoot at his friends, so no one will harm him.
Go on.
That leaves just you. But you're liable to kill somebody and be killed in turn, and there's no telling where it'll stop.
It would seem so.
You're doing it for money. What if I gave you more money to leave town now?
That's a definite offer, I take it?
cash. I'll get it right.
Now, wait. I'm afraid not. Switching sides is most unethical.
Unethical? Why,
Did you ever see a lynching, Miss Bender?
No.
Your imagination would fall far short of the truth. No matter what he's done, Holgate won't be handed over to feed the animal instincts of the mob.
I told you, I don't want anybody hurt but him.
Amy.
Yes, Clint?
You need any help?
No.
The trouble with a lynching, Miss Bender, you can't have it ordered up all dainty, neat, like a yard of lace. It's something that cowards get whiskied up for and mumble over and wind up screaming in the gutters of a dark night.
Go on, get out of here. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Isn't there?
Listen, mister. You take her advice, get out of town. A double blast from this shotgun ought to cut a man in half.
That man won't be any deader than a man with a .45 bullet between his eyes.
There's room enough out there in front, gunfighter, for another noose.
So there is. And earth enough to bury every man who comes to me with a rope.
Men, think how thrilled your wife would be if you made her a bedside table that swings on hinges like a gate and brings everything within easy reach. Or a beautiful built-in dispenser for paper towels, aluminum foil, wax paper, and plastic wrap. Or narrow folding doors to replace that wide closet door that blocks the hallway. These are just a few of the exciting ideas for living better on less money in the new Popular Science magazine, now on sale at your newsstand. It's crammed with new ideas, new products, new tips and techniques for lovers of cars, boats, woodworking, metalworking, photography, hi-fi. 282 pages, 380 pictures. There's even a special money-saving 20-page booklet on how to fix electric motors. It's bound right into the magazine. And this month, to win new friends for Popular Science, the magazine is now on sale at your newsstand for 10 cents off the regular price, only 25 cents. Get the new February Popular Science today. Look for the bright blue band on the cover. Popular Science magazine.
What's going on out there? I didn't hear 'em.
They're gathering down in front of the Bender store. Getting steamed up. They'll be moving before long.
Yeah. Well, you fellas don't be napping.
We won't.
What you looking at me like that for? What are you thinking?
Just wondering what you're thinking. You're mighty cheerful for a man about to face a lynch mob.
Well, I got confidence in you and the sheriff. I figure you'll give 'em what for.
Coming. Well, see you in court.
You better. Or you don't get paid.
What is it?
Well, here, have a look.
What?
Funny thing. See them two riders just leaving Coombs' place, heading down the side street, trailing a third horse?
Yeah, they look like two cowboys.
Yeah, and Willie and McKeith, Holgate's friends. Now, what would they be doing at his lawyer's?
I got a better question to chew on. Who do they figure to ride that extra horse?
Yeah. Oh, I reckon that question's going to have to wait. They're getting about ready to move. There's another shotgun in the closet, Paladin.
No, thanks. Incidentally, Miss Bender says you won't use that shotgun against your friends out there.
Miss Bender's mistaken.
Sheriff, I'll buy you a drink after this is over.
Maybe.
Well, looks like everybody's here. I'd say we're all ready. What's the matter, Amy?
Nothing. Nothing's the matter. You'll bring him here.
Yeah, so you can put the rope around his neck. You just wait here, and we'll bring him to you.
Dad, what you doing with that gun?
Well, Max, you change your mind?
I'm going to the jail. Stand beside the sheriff and that fellow Paladin against his mom.
Now, hold on, Max. You're getting turned around.
From the beginning, we had decency and law in this town. Now you're going to wipe it all out in one night.
We're doing this for your son.
No, don't use my boy as an excuse. Get out of my way.
You better stay here and take it easy, Max. Now, give me that rifle.
Clint!
Never mind. The sheriff will give me another.
I said stay here.
Get your hands off me.
Dad, don't. Clint, don't.
Oh.
All right, now. Come on. Let's go. Let's do it.
Dad. Oh, Dad.
I'm all right. But, Amy, what have you done?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know it would be like this.
Here they are. And Paladin, you better get that shotgun.
I've got something better in the desk.
I'll get back, I'm warning you!
Now, wait a minute, Sheriff.
Hey, Paladin, what are you doing?
Opening the door.
No, wait!
All right. Hold it. No need breaking down doors when you can open them with dynamite. All right, now. Here. Who wants it? You, big fella.
No!
Well, if nobody wants it, here.
Where you going, Paladin? Get out of the way of that dynamite. What are you doing?
Just putting out the fuse. It was a long, slow-burning one.
That crowd is still running. I don't blame them.
Now, they won't collect again. Mob courage is a momentary thing. Once it's gone for good.
The street's clean deserted of them. Except over there. Yeah, there's Clint. Let's go after him, Paladin.
Now, you go ahead. I got a client who thinks he doesn't have to go to court.
I'll nail Clint. We can tie this thing up.
Go ahead. I'm going back and check Holgate.
Willie, what's happened? I can't hear nothing. The crowd's gone. Something's wrong. Well, we better go ahead anyway. Now, whip your horses and pull out the bars. That's fine. You did it.
You hold it right there, Holgate.
Paladin, don't shoot!
All right, out there. You stay where you are.
No, I got no gun, Paladin!
All right. Just stay put.
You killed Willie and McKee. You're good. Awful good.
That's why you hired me.
Yes, but there's no call you get mixed up in this. You just collect your money and forget about it.
I couldn't do that. I can't collect until you walk into the courtroom.
Listen, Paladin, I'll make it 1,000 if you'll just walk away.
You don't understand. You hired me to get you into that courtroom. And that's where you're going, to be tried for murder.
Mr. Paladin.
Oh, hello, Amy. Mr. Bender.
Here's your money, Paladin. $200.
Thank you.
Now that Holgate's in court, there's a lot of people in this town that are grateful to you today. But it's not in their nature to come out and admit it.
Well, I'm admitting it.
And with such a long face.
I'm so ashamed. And confused. Why did you want me to hold your pay?
Because it's an honest face, too.
Oh, come back to Bender again, Mr. Paladin.
I'd be delighted. Goodbye.
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 Oh, Mr. Paladin, welcome back to San Francisco. You have a good trip?
More excitement than money, hey boy. But it's good to be home.
I take you back.
No. I'll manage.
Oh, you have something valuable in it?
No. Just the tools of the trade.
Oh, big secret. Something to upset apple cart?
You might say so, yes. Oh, by the way, hey boy. That pretty young lady who is...
Oh, yeah, she's still here and look plenty lonesome.
Oh. Now, let's see. Was she blonde or brunette?
Huh?
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Eat on, hey boy, and forget the papers tonight.
Have Gun, Will Travel. Created by Herb Meadow and Sam Rolfe, is produced by Norman MacDonald and stars John Daner as Paladin, with Ben Wright as Hayboy. Tonight's story was written by Sam Rolfe and adapted for radio by John Dunkel. Featured in the cast were Jack Edwards, Jack Crucian, Virginia Christine, Olin Soleil, Roy Woods, and Vic Perrin. Hugh Douglas speaking. Join us again next week for Have Gun, Will Travel.
Here's Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective.
Hello there. I'm Diamond. What if you got any idea how much trouble a private detective can get into sometimes? Well, if you happen to have an office at Broadway and 53rd Street and the sign painted on your door reads Diamond Detective Agency, you're a setup for more trouble than a guy who goes bear hunting with a switch. I know, because I've got that office and the sign painted on the door. Sure, I've got a lot of idle time, and I use it up sitting around with my feet on the desk, waiting. But idle time can be as dangerous as a rattlesnake taking a sunbath. It's just a preliminary, the lull before the storm. You might wait an hour, a day, or maybe even a week. But the quiet minutes keep multiplying, and sooner or later, things come to a head. Like one day last week. I'd been working on an extra long lull that didn't look like it was going anywhere. But in another part of town, a union meeting was taking place. It was going to keep me jumping around like a hungry flea at a dog show.
I wanted to talk to you, man. It's time that we did something. The Laborers' Assistance League is already functioning in a great number of factories in this city. And it's getting a stronger foothold all across the country. It continues to expand and gain power because it operates best where there's growing unrest and discontent within the factories. Now, they cause trouble and make it look like the union's not doing a good job for the worker. I know for a fact that 4 or 5 men can sit in on a union meeting and cause enough trouble to make it look like the whole union is wrong. Now, this union is getting along fine.
He's really out to make trouble tonight.
Yeah, if he keeps it up, this is going to be a tough union to crack.
He won't keep it up. We're going to take care of him.
Oh, what good will that do? His brother Phil will be in from California next week.
We can shut his brother up, too. Are you sure he planned this thing with his brother?
Yeah. When he gets in from California, he's bringing enough information to put us out of business.
Well, that just gives us a week. He's talked too long. Let's break this meeting up.
Is doing just that.
Yeah? How do we know you're not talking through your hat?
Well, now, look, you all know me. I gripe as much as the next guy. But I know for a fact that this league is not only working like that all over the country, but now it's beginning to move in on our factories and our unions.
Yeah, but how do we know it's such a bad thing?
They're a bunch of racketeers. And if you don't believe me, you come to this meeting next week, and I'll give you the proof you want. I don't know.
Well, I guess you're right. He promised them proof in a week, and that's what his brother gets in.
Don't worry about it. When he gets the package, he won't be able to give anybody anything.
Tom, bring in the rest of the dinner dishes, will you?
Oh, sure, honey.
Here, Mama, let me wash them. You talk to Tom for a minute. He's going to another meeting tonight.
Oh, meetings. Always meetings. Oh, Tom, you're working too hard.
No, don't worry, Mama. Phil will be home tomorrow. You got me.
Oh, this is not a good business, Tom. The phone call, the threats. Come on, Tom. Tell Mama.
I can't, Mama. It'll all be over soon. Now, come on. We'll help Marge.
I told you to go sit down and relax.
You sound like I was getting to be an old lady. You take the dish towel, and we'll both do them, huh?
Yeah.
Your wife thinks I'm getting too old to wash dishes. Just you wait until she has a daughter-in-law.
I think Mama's hinting.
Mama, shame on you. You give us the time to get the son first, then there's plenty of time for a daughter-in-law.
Well, I had you and Phil by the time I was 18. Marge is 22, and you've been married over a year now.
Mama, if you're so set on me raising a family, why don't you talk it over with Marge? Maybe you two can think up something.
We'll let you know.
Oh, you do that, will you?
You better hurry up, Tom. You'll be late for the meeting.
All right, Mama. Oh, I'll get it.
No. You say goodbye to your lovely wife.
Why, thank you, Mama.
You know, before your father died, I only had time to raise 2 screaming roughnecks. But now I plan to be the grandmother of at least 5 more.
How about it, honey? Think we ought to make Mama happy?
This is a conspiracy. Who do you think's going to get left with all the work?
Maybe just 3 then, huh?
Silly. I love big families.
Oh, I thought so. Smooching when you ought to be on your way to the meeting.
Can a guy even smooch with his own wife?
Who was at the door, Mama?
Oh, the mailman. He left our special delivery package for you, Tom. It's in the living room.
For me?
Yeah. Must be from Philip. It's from California.
Oh, he must be sending some stuff on ahead. Well, why don't you open it, Mama? Maybe it's something for you, too.
Oh, the women have dishes to wash. It's addressed to you. If you don't want to open it now, so leave it till tomorrow. Now, go on. Get out of my kitchen.
You know
go.
You're sounding more like a mother-in-law every day.
Oh.
Okay, I'll open it. You know, maybe it'd make you happier if you knew that Marge and I decided on 5 kids.
Children are not kids. Kids are goats.
Well, you never know.
Tom, John Wagner called you earlier.
Wagner? What do you want?
He didn't say. Who's the package from?
Oh, that's from Phil, all right. I know it's a surprise because he sent it to me at the shop first, and then they sent it on here. Wonder why I didn't get it at the shop.
Well, what is it?
Just a second, Mama. Wrapped up pretty tight. Boy, it's sure heavy.
Diamond Detective Agency, murder solved cheap. We eliminate the middleman.
Oh, by George, that was a good one.
Is this Lieutenant Levinson, the homicide kingpin?
Yeah. Rick, get down here, will you?
What's up, lover?
Something pretty nasty.
Well, tell Otis to stop leaving his bubble gum under the seats.
No kidding, Rick. This is something that you ought to know about.
Well, stop sounding like an auctioneer at a mortuary and tell me what it is.
You know the Waxmans?
Mama Waxman?
Yeah.
Sure, I had dinner over there last week. Took Helen. What's happened, Walt?
Last night, someone sent Tom Waxman a box with a bomb in it.
What?
I knew you were a friend of the family, and I've got to talk with you. Come down here, will you?
You know it. I closed the office and grabbed a cab for Walt's precinct. All the way over, I kept thinking about Mama Waxman and her 2 sons. I'd known the whole family when I used to be on the force. Tom, who used to sing first tenor at the synagogue, had gotten hit in the throat with a baseball. And Cantor Weinberg asked me to take over for him, so I sang that day in Tom's place. Mama Waxman heard me and asked me over later for the best dinner I'd ever eaten. We've been friends ever since. The cab dropped me off at the station, and I went in fast. Sergeant Otis was sitting at his desk reading the Police Gazette. Hello, Otis. Stop panting. They're just pictures.
Oh, it's the comic gumshoe. Go on in, Diamond. The lieutenant expects you.
Well, thanks, Sergeant. Oh, by the way, when are you going to get a haircut? You're beginning to look like Rasputin with a Tony. Hello, Walt.
Sit down. I got a real headache.
How much damage did the bomb do?
Plenty. Killed Tom and put his wife and mother in the hospital. Mama Waxman's pretty bad.
Oh, that's awful. Any line on the killer?
Yeah, that's why I got this headache. We're, holding Phil Waxman, Tom's brother.
Holding Phil? Are you crazy? Those 2 kids were inseparable.
Tom's wife said that the box the bomb came in was from Phil. She heard Tom say so before he opened it.
Well, she could have been mistaken. Someone could have copied Phil's handwriting. The story's got more holes in it than a fishnet.
The package was sent from California, Rick. That's where Phil was. He got in this morning and we picked him up at the train.
What does he say?
I thought at first he was going to say plenty, but Then some guy comes in and says that he's his lawyer. After the guy left, Phil shut up like a clam.
He denies the crime, doesn't he?
Oh, sure, but that's all. Can't get anything else out of him.
Who was this guy who claimed to be his lawyer?
I got it right here. Name is John Wagner.
Ah. You check on him?
Yeah, he's a lawyer, all right, but we can't find an address on him. Moved his offices about 3 weeks ago.
Can I talk to Phil?
Won't do you any good. But if you want to, have Otis take you over to the Tombs.
I won't have to hold Otis's hand, will I?
Oh, go on. Get out of here.
There's somebody to see you, Waxman. All right, Diamond, you got 5 minutes.
How are you going to keep track, Otis?
On my fingers.
Well, that'll only get you up to 13. I'll scream if I need you. How are you, Phil? You're in on a tough rap.
Yeah.
You want to tell me about it?
I've told the police everything I'm going to.
Who was the lawyer who came in to see you?
Just a lawyer.
John Wagner?
Just a lawyer.
Look, what were you doing in California? Now, Phil, I know you didn't send that bomb. Why don't you open up and get yourself free?
I've said all I'm going to say. Now, get out of here, Diamond.
Oh, it's like that, huh?
Yeah, it's like that.
Oh, come on.
Go on, get out.
Okay. But don't forget your mother. You don't want to let her down. I'm going over to the hospital and see her now. Hey, Otis, let me out of here. Hello, Mama.
What? Who? Oh, Richard. How's my big policeman?
Fine, Mama.
Did you know that one of my wonderful sons is dead? Did you know that, Richard?
Yes, Mama. Now, you take it easy, or the doctor won't let me stay.
They killed my Tom because what he said was the truth. And that's why they are bad. Because they don't let people tell the truth.
Who, Mama?
My boy Phil knows. He will tell everything about them, and then they will be arrested.
Sure, Mama, but who does Phil know about? I just saw him, and he won't tell me. Mama.
I feel so sleepy. I'm tired.
Mama.
You'll have to leave, Mr. Diamond.
Is she asleep, nurse?
Yes, we got here.
Oh. Well, then may I see Mrs. Tom Waxman?
For a minute, yes. She's in this next room. She isn't as serious as Mrs. Waxman, but she has to rest. I'll give you a minute with her.
Marge?
Yes. Who is it? Rick. Oh.
Oh, now, come on. You got to help me out. I'm the guy that's supposed to make people laugh. I'm the cornball with the bad line of chatter, remember?
I can't help it. I'm sorry they gave me something to make me sleep, and things don't make too much sense.
Look, dear, I want to help Mama, and I want to help you, too. But the nurse will only let me stay a minute. The police are holding Phil. I just came from seeing him.
Did he tell you anything?
Nothing.
I made a mistake and told the police that the bomb had arrived in a package from Phil. I didn't think... They can't believe Phil would ever do a thing like that. He was helping Tom.
Mama said Phil knows who did it.
He doesn't know. He just knows who's behind it. I'm pretty sure I know, too.
Who, Marge?
Tom's been making speeches against an organization that call themselves the Laborers Assistance League.
I've heard of them. King-size bunco game.
Yeah. Phil's been in California. He joined the league and found out a lot of things about it. He used to write Tom once a week.
Your time's up, and you'll have to leave.
Just a second. Marge, did Tom tell anybody what his brother was doing?
I don't know. There was a man named John Wagner that called Tom all the time.
John Wagner? He's a lawyer.
Please, Mr. Diamond.
Did he tell any of the men who work in the shop with him?
Yes, I think so.
Mr. Diamond to call the doctor.
Please, nurse. This may mean another man's life. Marge, who did he tell?
Well, I can only remember one person, Ralph Pryor.
Pryor.
Mama used to fix Tom and Ralph dinner after work sometimes, but he was Tom's closest friend.
Okay, Marge. Now, you take it easy, and I'll see what I can do.
Please, Rick, find the men who did this.
Yes. Well, I'll try. All right, nurse.
I shouldn't have let you stay this long.
What would I have to do to get you to take care of me?
Have an accident.
Well, I'll see what I can come up with. Bye. I left the hospital and walked out on the street. One of those sidewalk photographers snapped my picture and handed me a card in case I wanted to send him 2 bits for the print. I threw the card away and headed for the factory where Tom had been working. The superintendent took me down and introduced me to the new foreman of the shop.
Yeah, pretty rough about Tom.
That's an understatement. Tell me, when did you take over Tom's job as foreman?
This morning.
How long have you worked for this shop?
About 3 years. Why, are you a cop?
I might be. You know a guy named Ralph Pryor?
Sure, that's him, right over there about that there turtle lathe. Want me to call him over?
No, I think I can make it under my own power. Hey, you Ralph Pryor?
Yeah.
You knew Tom Waxman pretty well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, don't cry on the machinery. It'll rust.
Who are you? What do you want?
Name's Diamond. Let's say I'm a friend of the family.
Well, good for you. What are you snooping for?
I've got an erector set. I just love machinery.
Well, don't get too close to this machine or it'll take your arm off.
As long as it's not the one I count my money with. How long have you worked here?
None of your business.
Where were you during the war?
Same answer.
Well, thanks, Mr. Pryor. You've been grand. Hey, Foreman.
Yeah. Did you talk to Pryor?
He's the quiet type. Say, how does the mail come in here?
From the mail room.
Ask a silly question. No, I mean, who brings it in?
No special one. Foreman usually sends someone after it.
Do you remember a package coming here for Tom yesterday or the day before?
No, if there'd been one, Tom would have seen it. He was the foreman then.
Where can I find the mailroom?
Up the hall to head the stairs.
Thanks.
Sure is too bad about Tom.
You said that. Say, didn't I know you all back in Little Rock, Arkansas?
No. I'm from Malvern.
I just thought I'd ask. I went up and talked to the mailroom clerk, and he was a little more help. There had been a package for Tom. He told me that he'd sent it down along with some other mail, but he couldn't remember who'd picked it up. I was beginning to get warm, and I knew it. So I slipped into a phone booth and put in a fast call to Lieutenant Levinson.
Homicide, Sergeant Otis.
Otis, let me talk to the lieutenant.
Oh, it's you, Diamond. Why don't you stop playing like a detective?
Why don't you buy the lieutenant a necktie for his birthday, a fuzzy green one?
You think he'd like that?
Sure, and if the clerk hasn't ever seen a fuzzy green one before, just show him your tongue. Now put the lieutenant on.
Lieutenant Levinson.
What? Did you find out anything about that bomb?
Oh, yeah, Rick. It was dynamite. Highest grade. But I don't see how it could come all the way from California through the mails without the caps blowing the whole thing up.
Neither do I. Do me a favor, will you? Pick up a Ralph Pryor. He works at the same shop that Tom Waxman did.
What can I hold him on?
Just pick him up for questioning. Since when do you need an excuse?
Now, you wait a minute. If you know something about this
I've
case,
just got a hunch. Pick the guy up, and I'll be down in a little while and tell you all about it. I hung up on Walt just as he was getting around to the words you could censor and headed back to the factory. I waited around outside for about 10 minutes, and then, sure enough, a prowl car pulled up, and 2 boys in blue got out and went in. In a couple of minutes, they came back outside, only this time they had company. Ralph Pryor. I waited until they had pulled away, then I hailed a cab and headed for the 5th Precinct myself.
where have you been?
Snooping, Walt. I just saw your boys pick up Pryor at the factory. Thanks.
Now, would you kindly tell me what you wanted him picked up for?
Oh, it's a long shot, Walt. I found out he knew what Tom's brother was doing in California.
What was he doing?
Getting some information on a racket that's been trying to muscle in on Tom's local union.
In California?
Yeah, they're operating all over the country. You've heard of them. Laborers Assistance League.
Oh, those leeches. Well, I still don't see what this has got to do with Pryor.
Well, I think that bomb was sent from the factory here in New York. And I found out a little while ago that in order to get hold of that package, the killer would have to be working in Tom's shop.
You think Pryor did it?
I'll tell you better when I see if anyone comes down to get him out.
Well?
Well, what?
Well, what are we going to do? Sit here and look at each other?
Well, that's a pretty ghastly thought.
How about a fast game of canasta?
Oh, you know it's a lousy two-handed game.
Well, I'm just trying to help.
We could play jacks, but twosies throw me.
Yeah, what is it, Otis?
The lawyer, John Wagner's out here. He says he wants to see the guy we just picked up.
Fast work?
Ralph Pryor?
Yeah. He says he represents some kind of laborers' assistance league or something. Said that Pryor's a member.
All right. Let him see him.
Okay, Lieutenant.
John Wagner, that lawyer who came in to see Phil Waxman this morning, is back again, Rick. It's time to see Pryor.
Yeah?
Well, what are you looking so smug about?
Looks like the hunch is going to pay off.
You mean this lawyer is tied in with the killing?
Well, I'm not sure, but I think so. Tom Waxman was making speeches against the Assistance League. Now, a lawyer from the league shows up to help the only guy who knew what Tom was up to and worked in the same shop with him.
Now, I suppose you want me to hold the lawyer.
No, what? Why?
How do I know? That's what I asked you.
What? Am I supposed to know everything? Lock him up if you want to.
What for? He's not guilty.
How do you know he's not guilty?
Because you had me pick up Ralph Pryor.
Well, let him go, too.
Let him go where?
With his lawyer.
I thought you wanted me to lock up the lawyer.
Walt, that was your idea.
What was?
Locking up the lawyer.
I don't want to lock up the lawyer.
Well, let him go.
He's not in. Pryor
Well,
is.
let him go.
Who?
Phil Waxman.
How did he get in here?
I don't know. You put him in.
Of course I put him in. Now, why should I let him out?
I don't know. I ask you.
Ask me what?
Why you put him in.
Now, wait a minute. Otis.
Yeah, Lieutenant?
Empty the jails and throw this idiot out of my office.
Thanks, Walt. Bye. I went out in the squad room and spotted the lawyer just as Otis started back into Walt's office with a glass of bicarbonate. He was a little guy, dressed neatly in a Homburg, blue suit, and spats. I made sure that he was my man, and I went out in front of the precinct to wait. I hung around for about half an hour until he finally came out, and then I started the tale. He grabbed a cab, and so did I. We went across town, and I watched him as he got out and went into a big building on 38th Street. I went in after him. We rode the same elevator to the 8th floor, and we both got out. I made like I was looking for a room number, and he went in the door with a sign on it reading Continental Shipping, offices in New York, California, and London. I got close to the door and could hear a phone being dialed. I'd have given my eye teeth, complete with the fillings, to have heard what the conversation was about.
Yes, I just went down to see him. He'll be released in an hour. I've got him passage on the tramp steamer. When they release him, he'll meet me at a place I picked, and I'll give him the ticket. I'll tell him the police are up to something, and he'll have to get out of the country. Now, don't worry about that. He'll never get there. The captain of the ship is being paid to see that he doesn't. All right. Yes, everything is going as well as can be expected. Oh, one more thing. A friend of Waxman's, a private detective, is following me. One of our men took his picture coming out of the hospital after seeing Waxman's mother. Yes, well, don't worry about it. I can take care of him when the time comes. All right, goodbye.
I waited until he came out of the building and the hunt was on again. I grabbed another cab, and it took my last $3 chasing him to a little waterfront dive on Canal Street. I followed him in and watched him sit down in a booth at the back of the room. I made like an unhealthy patron and took a table near the door where I could watch. An hour later, a guy walked in and headed for the lawyer's booth. He was Ralph Pryor. He talked with the lawyer for a minute, then took an envelope from him and got up. He went out, and I went after him. If I was right, he was my killer, and the lawyer could wait. Ralph, I want to talk to you.
I thought I told you to stop snooping.
Bad right ear. Let's step in this alley.
Oh, what?
Get in the alley.
Hey, what do you think you're shoving around?
You're just full of questions.
You know, mister, you're not so big that you can't end up with a busted head. Now, let me go.
I guess you better understand something.
Oh.
Get the point?
Well, you dirty...
Still want to play, huh?
Oh. Oh.
Maybe you haven't guessed it, but I'm mad. I'm going to kick you from one end of this alley to the other until you tell me who sent that bomb to Tom Waxman.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, the state might slap my wrist, but I don't like losing good friends.
Oh, my nose.
You should see Mama Waxman. She looks a lot worse, but she's got a lot more troubles. She lost a son.
Oh. Wait a minute. I can't take any more.
Sure you can. Sure. Just think about something else. Tom Waxman, maybe, or his wife and mother. Want to tell me? Okay.
No. Please. Wait a minute. All right, I did it. Leave me alone, will you?
You picked up a dummy box sent from California to the factory and you planted a bomb in it.
Yeah.
Why? Because Brother Phil had evidence enough to smear the League?
You know a lot, don't you? Sure, Tom was going to present the evidence in front of his union. And the League sent an empty box from California addressed with Phil's forged handwriting. And I went up to the mailroom and picked up the box and put the bomb in it and sent it to Tom's house.
You do it for the League?
Yeah, I did it for them.
Who's the boss of the League?
Well, I...
Come on.
All right. It's...
Oh.
Now you'll never know. Wow. Mr. John Wagner, complete with Derringer.
I hope you noticed the error of his ways, Mr. Diamond. He talked too much.
You got a funny way of keeping clients out of trouble.
I'm glad you noticed. I'm going to do the same for you.
Won't you need a retainer?
No, this one's on the house, so to speak.
I think you're going to get one anyway. That cop at the end of the alley with a riot gun doesn't look like he's hunting golfers.
That is a very stale attempt at throwing me off guard. Anyone that would be stupid enough to try a worn-out stunt like that deserves to die. You'll make it easy for me.
Okay, suit yourself. Fire when ready, Gridley.
What do you think?
Thanks, Walt. You arrived in the nick.
Nick Pick, a big gazunt. Why can't you get mixed up with a wife beating or something? The taxpayers are getting tired of seeing their streets cluttered up with a lot of bodies.
Now, don't you yell at me. How did you find me?
I knew something was up, so when Ralph Pryor was released, I tailed him. I saw you tailing Pryor. I saw the lawyer tailing you, so I tailed the lawyer.
Well, if you'd had an 8-piece band, you'd have had a parade.
Oh, nuts.
Oh, what's the matter, Walt? You'd have had to shoot him. He was going to kill me.
Oh, I'm not worried about that.
Well, what is it?
I forgot to bring my bicarbonate along.
Oh. Well, the wagon came and crated Pryor and the lawyer off to the morgue. When we got back to the station, Walt put in a call to the feds and told them to check the Labor's Assistance League in California and pick up the guys who sent the package through the mails. Using the mails like that can be a tough rap. And 3 weeks later, the government closed in. They picked up the big wheel and threw the whole bunch away for 10 to 20. Tom's brother, Phil, was released, and he went in front of Tom's union and gave them the evidence he'd collected while he was with the League. Needless to say, the League wasn't represented that night or any night after that. About 3 weeks after Mama Waxman came home from the hospital, she invited me over for one of her famous dinners. I brought Helen, and her butler Francis came along to help with the serving. Oh, Mama, I'm stuffed.
Oh, but Richard, you didn't finish up the cheesecake.
Can't make it, honey.
I can't move.
Oh, the Helen's a good girl. She ate everything in front of her. You know what? You two should get married.
Her appetite is the best argument against getting married I can think of.
Keep working on him, Mama.
All right. Now, let's all go into the front room. If I know my big policeman, he still likes to stretch out on the couch, huh?
You are so right. Here, let me help you, Mama.
Thank you, Richard. Where's Francis?
Oh, he's in making some coffee.
Oh, he's been such a help. Before the accident, it was nothing to serve supper.
You sit right here, honey.
All right. Thank you.
I won't have to eat another thing for a week.
Here's the coffee, Mrs. Waxman.
Francis, you must call me Mama, like the rest.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Mama.
Did you have enough to eat also, Francis?
It was simply wonderful. You know, someday if Miss Asher doesn't mind, I'd like to stop by and, well, just to swap recipes, as it were.
Well, I think that would be wonderful, Francis. Why don't you do that?
I'll give you some fine ones, Francis.
Where's Phil tonight, Mama?
He had to go to a union meeting. He's going to work in Tom's shop. He also asked me to thank you for singing at the funeral.
Glad to do it, Mama.
Richard, we always wondered where you learned to sing in Yiddish.
Well, I used to pound a beat on the Lower East Side.
Oh, well, would you do me a big favor, Richard?
Sure, dear.
I'm feeling a little sad about my boy tonight. Would you sing something for me? This song he liked you to sing.
Oh, I'm a little full of dinner, Mama.
Please, Ray.
Oh, yes, please, Mr. Diamond.
Well, all right. Mimi. A Yiddish Mädel, darf a Yiddischer boy. It's pretty good for a shaker, so, Mama.
Fine.
Du schöner Mädel, denn es darf sein a Zoll.
What does it mean?
Don't tell her, Mama. Weil in der Teure ist geschrieben, in a Zoll ist du's verblieben. A Yiddish Mädel, darf a Yiddischer boy. Tausend Kalle Mazel Tov.
Oh, that was wonderful, Richard. You know you would make a fine cantor.
Well, thank you, Mama. How did you like it, Francis?
Ha! Als een gazen bis der gitten Dishwasser.
What?
Francis.
What did he say, Mama?
He said as a cantor you would make a fine dishwasher.
You've just heard Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell.
Hey, Eddie, you mind if I butt in for a minute?
Not at all, Dick.
Thanks. I just wanted to tell the people that next week our show is going to be on at a different time and a different day. The day will be Saturdays instead of Sundays. And would you please look in your newspapers for the time?
Thanks, Dick. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Richard Diamond will come to you next Saturday at a new time. Be sure to check your newspaper for the hour. This program has come to you from Hollywood. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Soldiers of the press. This week, bombers over Haiphong.
Operational for Sunday. Order issued from Bomber Command to 15th Bombardment Group. To all staff and squadron commanders. A raid in force will be made on the Japanese-held port of Haiphong. Clearing airdrome at 0700. Signed, Brigadier General Claire Chenot.
That operational was of exceptional interest to United Press staff correspondent Robert P. Martin, assigned to a U.S. Army Bomber Command headquarters base in China. This is his eyewitness account of the first great raid on Haiphong, the strongest naval base in Jap-held Indochina.
From an advanced base in Yunnan, I flew with a group of American bombers when they sank their first ocean-going Japanese vessel from this base and then plastered the entire waterfront of Haiphong. It was 0600 when we piled out of bed for the final briefing. 6 o'clock in the morning. We had to feel our way into the blacked-out headquarters building where the last discussion of the raid was to be held. I just barely managed to get a cup of coffee under my belt before the briefing started.
You awake yet, Bob?
Just about. I don't see why you guys can't arrange to hold this war at a more civilized hour.
I'll speak to the general about it. And better grab yourself a seat. We're going to start. All right, gentlemen. We'll start now. Be seated.
Ta-da!
I'll have to presume that most of you are awake. I don't hear any snoring. But just to make certain that you stay awake, I'll ask you to take notes. Now, we discussed the preliminary details last night, so I needn't go over the formation again. However, let me review briefly. The first squadron will form the leading element of the group formation. The Hellcat squadron will form the second element, and the Top Hat squadron will form the rear element. That's you, Hank. No roving around looking for a fight. Now, combat orders. Group assembly after takeoff will be over reference point H at 5,000 feet. Wedge formation at 0710. The route out will be direct. Route back, direct. Method of attack will be plan A. Base your altitude and command. Maneuver after attack. All squadrons turn right and assemble on group commander. Any questions?
What do we do if we get separated?
I'll get to that in a minute, Jinx. Now about the anti-aircraft evasive tactics. We can expect a certain amount of flak over such a...
The briefing went on for about half hour or so, and various reports kept coming in while we all sat there eating our breakfast with one hand and taking notes with the other. It's really amazing how much preparation and planning goes into a bomber raid, but it all pays off. Our bombers and their crews keep coming home as a result. Finally, the briefing was over. We knew when the commander said...
Check your watches. In exactly 15 seconds, it'll be 0650. In 10 seconds. In 5 seconds. Check. All right. Good hunting. Good hunting. Let's go.
I was assigned to the big bomber of Lieutenant C.H. Hagan of Jacksonville, Florida. We had a brief conversation before going out in the flying field, and he told me what to watch for on our way to the target and during the bombing. Then we went aboard the bomber, and I was given a pair of earphones and allowed to plug in on the plane's interphone and radio circuit while the pilots warmed up the motors.
Radio testing. Army 49607 testing. Army 49607 testing. Can you hear me, tower? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, 49607. I hear you very well. That frequency is very good.
Okay, thank you. Radio's hot, Skipper. Any time now.
Okay, Vince. Pilot to navigator. Everybody aboard?
Yes,
Check off everybody, front to rear.
Bombardier here, sir. Turret, gunner here, sir. Navigator present. Radio here, sir. Navigator aboard, sir.
How about the press? You all set, Martin?
All set here.
Okay, thank you. Ready, co-pilot?
Ready. Oil pressure is up on both.
Okay. Unlock tail wheel. Stand by brakes. Pilot to radio. Transmit me.
Go ahead.
Control tower from Army 49607. Tower from Army 49607. Request taxi and takeoff clearance. Acknowledge.
Army 49607 from tower. Clear to taxi to number 1 runway. Take off when ready. Clear to taxi and take off. Go ahead.
Wilco, roger. Hang on to your hat, Martin. We're on our way to Haiphong.
It was a wonderful day for bombing Japs. The sunshine was brilliant. The sky was blue as it only can be over the arid China Mountains. The drone of the motors and the dull, endless landscape made me very drowsy. I must have been asleep for quite a while when the sound of voices in my earphones woke me up.
Pilot to navigator, how we doing?
Okay. Right on course. Wind remains constant. Compass heading 22. No perceptible drift. ETA 20 minutes.
Right.
The estimated time of arrival was 20 minutes. The bomber crew began to sit up and take notice. So did I. I moved over just below Gunner Sergeant Ed Rhodes of Kansas City and watched him checking over his machine guns. He handled them like a mother with a 2-week-old baby. Then he draped 50-pound belts of machine gun bullets around his neck like a pearl necklace. I had to move away because the loose ends kept swinging into my face.
Pilot here. Keep a sharp watch for fighter opposition, everybody. Let me know if you see anything.
I went back and watched the navigator, Lieutenant Olson Edgar Peck of Georgetown, Texas. He was putting away his instruments and settling behind another machine gun. He winked at me and patted the belts of ammunition.
Holy Joe on a fishing
Over my
trip.
earphones, I could
Why
hear the
didn't I
rear gunner
join the
swearing
Marine?
to himself from time to time. So I gathered that he also was trying to get comfortable behind a machine gun. Right about then, I began wishing I had a machine gun myself.
2 gangsters coming in fast from 6 o'clock. Underneath, watch them, Charlie. I'll watch them. Tally-ho!
Gangsters are Jap pursuit ships, and angle 6 o'clock is directly astern. I flopped down in the passageway like a ton of brick and tried to remember if my insurance policy covered things like this.
Here he comes, Charlie. Give him a good one. I'm on him. Come on, Tojo. Come and get it. He's coming up to you. Hit him. Right. Left, pilot. Left a little. There, you son of a... Right in the kisses. There he goes. Looks very discouraged from here. Where's the other one, Charlie? He went further down the line, I think. Yeah, they got him. All clear, Skipper.
Nice work, you guys. We're coming in now. We'll be bombing from 20,000, so you better take some oxygen. Hey, Martin, is the United Press still with us?
Yep, I'm still here. Anybody want to trade a machine gun for a portable typewriter?
In college, they always told me words were bullets. Better put on your oxygen mask now. We're going up, and you'll need some lung juice in your blood if we have to bail out.
Okay, but give me a couple of weeks' notice before I have to jump, will you?
I'll try. Stand by, everybody.
I went back and stood by the bomb compartment so that I could look down and see what was underneath when the bomb doors opened.
Pilot to Bombardier. Leading element is moving to the left. They must be on. Can you see anything yet?
Yeah, Skipper, I can see the Haiphong waterworks about 3 miles ahead and to the left. Better get set.
Okay, take over. Bomb doors open.
The heavy bomb doors swung open slowly. And there, far below, I could see the waterfront of Haiphong. Then suddenly, the air was filled with little black puffs of smoke that went slowly drifting by. I realized the anti-aircraft flak batteries of the Japanese had gone into action.
API is on. How do you want it, Bombardier?
As she goes. Altitude 20,000, check.
20,000, check.
Ground speed 170, check.
170, check. It's all yours.
By now, the flak had become very thick, although I couldn't hear it at all. It looked as though it was quite far down and harmless. Now and then, brilliant tracer bullets went past silently like red ribbons in the sky. I could see that we were getting over the busiest part of the harbor.
Left 2 degrees, Skipper. Like that, that's fine. Steady. Right a trifle. Good. Steady. Steady. Bombs away.
I stood there beside the bomb racks and watched the big 500-pounders go streaming out silently and deadly. They almost seemed suspended in the air. I could see the little propeller on the tip of each bomb wind itself off the shaft, thus arming the bomb to explode on contact. For a while, they drifted along under the plane like little fish swimming in a bowl. Finally, I couldn't see them anymore. Then suddenly, there were great mushrooms of fire and smoke everywhere on the docks below. Then a roaring burst of flame and oily black smoke seemed to come almost up to our plane itself. and the concussion rattled us around like peas in a pod.
Must have been an oil tank. Nice shooting, Bombardier. All bombs gone?
All gone, Skipper.
Then what do you say we go down and shoot them up a bit? How about it, gunners?
That's for me, Skipper. Oh, boy.
Okay, hang on. Here we go.
I'd already had all the fun I wanted for one day, but the boys wanted to show me a good time, so we went down to a couple of 100 feet off the ground, went roaring up and down the waterfront, shooting everything in sight.
I'm forever going older. Left a little, Skipper. Forever going older. Look at the traces, aren't they pretty little things, though? Remind me of the fireflies back in Jersey. Hey, Skipper, heel over a little and let me get a crack at that gunboat. That's fine. Hey, newspaper man, want to try a few rounds at the Japs?
No, thanks. I'll just watch. It's all right with you.
Okay, no skin off my back.
It went on like that for 20 minutes or so. By the time we got through, there wasn't much Jap equipment left in Haiphong Harbor without bullet holes in it. Finally, the ammunition began to run low, and the bombers headed for home. We were still 20 minutes away from our base when the starboard engine began to sputter. I'd been writing up my notes on the raid, but I suddenly decided to pay more attention to what was going on at the moment.
Pilot here. Stand by, everybody. We may be running into trouble. Radio, transmit me.
Go ahead, Skipper.
Red leader from Army 49607. Red leader from Army 49607. Acknowledge.
Army 49607 from Red Leader. Go ahead.
My number one engine is failing. Can't keep up with the formation. We'll try to come in, but may have to make emergency landing. See you later.
Okay, Army 49607. Keep horsing it. Good luck.
Thank you.
With that, we sparred off and went out of the formation. A mighty lonely feeling to see the other bombers gradually pull out of sight ahead. A fierce tropical storm shut down all around us. We were alone somewhere over North China, the most desolate country in the world.
Pilot here. All hands, put on parachutes and stand by to abandon ship.
The gas gauges weren't working properly, and the engines might cut out at any moment. We were flying blind by this time, and the ship was rocking from side to side in sudden flurries of rain and wind. No one said anything, but none of us felt too happy about the idea of jumping out into the gray blank that was everywhere below us.
Pilot here. I'm going down and try to find a hole in these cloud banks. I'll level off at 12,000 or less. And if we hit a clear spot, I'll try for an emergency. If I can't make it, I'll give you the word and you'll bail out. The newspaper man goes first. Good luck, everybody.
Good luck, sir. Good luck.
We went down slowly, trying not to lose any more altitude than we had to. The navigator helped me on with my parachute and checked the fastenings, then gave me quick instructions on what to do when I jumped. We shook hands.
Pilot here. Looks like a break in the clouds up ahead. Keep a sharp lookout, everybody. I'm going through.
Navigator to pilot. Hello, Skipper.
See anything, Ole?
Yeah, I think so, Skipper. That Crooked Mountain. Isn't that our aerodrome landmark, the Mae West?
I think it is. Sure it is. We're home.
Hallelujah!
In a few moments, we could make out our base. We managed to get in before the gas ran out and the motors conked out completely. Hagen made a perfect landing, and when we crawled out of the ship, the boys who had gotten in ahead of us gathered around to wisecrack about walking home and to pound us on the back as a sign that they were glad to see us again. Before I started writing my account of the raid, I looked in on General Chenot in operations headquarters. He told me,
every plane returned safely from Haiphong. We hit their shipping where it hurt. It was a good show, Martin.
And it was a good story, too. Altogether, the bomber flight rained 14 tons of demolition bombs and incendiaries over the shipping and dock installations. One bomber, piloted by Lieutenant Colonel Herbert Morgan of Freedom, Pennsylvania, sank a 15,000-ton Jap ship. And between us, the rest of the flight managed to sink or damage several smaller ships. When we left Haiphong, we could see the fires we had started until we were 80 miles away. Yes, it was a good show. I'm glad I went along. I'll have to confess I'm also pretty well pleased about getting back.
Like Robert P. Martin, many United Press correspondents on every fighting front are braving gunfire or capture, facing tension, hardship, and danger. They carry no rifles or machine guns, these UP men, but their duty is as great and honorable as that of the fighting men they accompany. For their task is to get the news and send it back to their countrymen. We will be back soon with another story of these soldiers of the press. Be sure to listen. And meantime, listen for United Press News on the air. Look for United Press dispatches in your favorite newspaper. It is your guarantee of the world's best coverage of the world's biggest news.
And now, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Blair General Hospital, one of the great citadels of American medicine. A clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York, the nerve center of medical progress, where great minds and skilled hands wage man's everlasting battle against death and disease. Blair General Hospital, where life begins, where life ends, where life goes on. Come in. Oh, Dr. Gillespie.
Say, did you get a summons up to Dr. Carew's office?
I did, just now.
Yeah, I did, too. What do you suppose the old goat wants this time?
I don't know. Oh, probably someone on the board of directors has a tummy ache, hypochondria.
You know, he gets to be more and more of a nuisance every day.
All the Carews in the world are nuisances, aren't they?
Yes, and unfortunately the world is full of them. Well, shall we go up together?
I'm ready.
It's a doggone shame, you know, that we haven't got an apple to take along, put on his desk.
Why, Dr. Gillespie, you go wash your mouth out with soap.
Why?
Wait, use the word apple. You know what they say, an apple a day does.
Oh, yeah. Keeps the doctor away. Isn't that a little corny, Kildare?
I suppose it is. But it comes out in the best of us at times. Come on, let's report to headquarters.
Good morning, teacher.
You two dear fellows are never satisfied unless you have your little joke, are you?
Yeah.
I don't think he liked our greeting, Dr. Gillespie.
Oh, yes, I did. There's nothing I like better than to see high spirits in my associates.
As long as they don't become high with spirits, eh, Dr. Carew?
Talk about corn.
I say that's really good. As long as they don't become high with spirits. Get it, Kildare?
No, I don't.
He means as long as they don't become intoxicated.
He does?
Of course he does. Don't you, Dr. Gillespie?
Oh, I'm sorry I ever opened my big mouth.
High spirits. I must remember to tell my wife that.
Yeah.
Yes, well, we've had our bit of fun. Now to more serious business. Boys, I have a problem.
Yes, Dr. Carew?
I need help, and I know I can count on you. Can't I?
To the death.
Ditto.
There we are. There's the spirit that has made Blair General Hospital what it is today. Gentlemen, I salute you.
Kildare, attention.
What's your problem, Dr. Carew?
My wife's too fat.
What did you say?
I said my wife's too fat.
Well, you don't need a diagnostician and a surgeon for that.
Oh, yes, I do.
All right. As a diagnostician, I can tell you right now that the reason she's too fat is because she overeats. And as a diagnostician, I can also inform you that it's impossible for a surgeon to operate as a cure for obesity. That correct, Dr. Kildare?
Correct, Dr. Gillespie.
Now, don't be hasty. Gentlemen, I know that the proposed new polio hospital wing is dear to both your hearts.
Yes, but what does that have to do with Mrs. Carew's weight?
Everything, dear fellow, everything. I am planning a special benefit performance to be held in 2 months for the wing. A show, singing, dancing, and famous personalities. All that.
Well, I don't...
Angela used to be quite a famous dancer. She wants to dance again. And I want her to dance again. Lots of people come to see her dance again, who remembered her from the days when she was the toast of New York. Angela must be her old, slim, svelte, enchanting, adorable self. And she must dance her way once more into the hearts of this great, cold city and warm it, as she used to.
A very pretty sentiment, and I appreciate your feeling, Dr. Carew, but what can we do about it?
For the sake of the polio wing, get 20 pounds off Angela.
Well, I've never handled a case just like this.
No, neither have I.
I knew you'd help me out. Now then, Angela will be at the hospital in an hour. I'll send her down to see you.
Dear Dr. Kildare and Dr. Gillespie, you sweet old grumpy you. Oh, I believe I'm going to kiss you.
Oh, now, Angela, it isn't necessary to go to any such lengths as that, you know.
Oh, what a precious old grumpy. Well, Bumpy tells me that you two are going to make me thin.
Bumpy?
Dr. Carew.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, we're going to do our best. Let's see, Mrs. Carew. You weigh, according to our scale now, 150 pounds.
Don't say it so loud. It's embarrassing.
We'll have to put you through a thorough physical examination, of course, before you can start your diet. We'll want you to come in early in the morning for that. You'll have a basal metabolism test, and you'll find your instructions written on this piece of paper.
Well, of course, I don't know what's gotten into Bumpy. He used to say he didn't like girls that were like string beans.
Well, 20 pounds from now, you're still going to be a long way from being a string bean, Angela.
Well, I guess I better go out on a real binge this afternoon.
Binge? What kind of binge?
Maybe a double banana split binge.
That will make just that much more you'll have to take off.
Oh, I'll worry about that tomorrow. See you both in the morning.
Don't forget the paper with your instructions.
Oh, yes, that's right. Well, toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
Oh, you sweet, precious, grumpy you. Goodbye.
Say, I may throw up.
I don't know. I certainly didn't study medicine and put in all that work to spend my time taking fat off people who just shovel it back onto themselves as fast as they can eat.
That's right. Sure it is. That's right. It isn't very smart when you stop to think about it. By carrying a lot of extra weight around, Angela is weakening her strength and shortening her life and spoiling her looks.
Think we can get her to diet?
Well, we better. We'll start looking for another hospital. Come in.
Well, what two shining, happy faces I see.
Molly, have you any favorite way of taking off weight?
Oh, sure. I bang this against the wall like this.
Does it work?
Well, I think so. Oh, did you two draw Mrs. Carew?
Yeah, we certainly did.
I just heard Dr. Carew giving a statement to the papers that she was to stage a comeback and for the sake of dear Blair General Hospital would redo her famous Dance of the Willow. Oh, I'd better get back to work. Good afternoon, Dr. Carew.
Yes. Oh, here are my great doctors. Dr. Brownlee, may I present Dr. Gillespie and Dr. Kildare.
How to do?
Dr. Brownlee is a diet specialist from London. I just told him how you propose to take 20 pounds off Mrs. Carew by your unique and original scientific methods. And he has asked permission to observe you at work, which I have given him. He's terribly grateful.
Oh, quite.
Well, we're glad to have you, Doctor, but we haven't actually started on the case yet. We're beginning our examinations of Mrs. Carew in the morning.
Quite.
Well, I know you'll enjoy having this learned colleague with you. I'll just leave you boys to get acquainted.
Quite.
How long have you been in New York, Dr. Brownlee?
1 week.
You enjoying yourself?
Quite.
Where have you been since you arrived?
No place.
Oh, well, would you like to look around the town?
No, thank you.
Yes. I imagine you miss England.
Quite.
So what time is it? My word, 5 o'clock already. It's time for my visit. I'm sorry to tear myself away, but you understand how it is, Dr. Brownlee. Dr. Kildare will entertain you.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but I have an emergency on the 3rd floor, Dr. Gillespie. I know Dr. Brownlee will excuse me.
Yes.
Nice to have met you, Doctor.
I'll wait.
Well, I may be some time.
Time is of no essence.
Goodbye, Dr. Brownlee. Dr. Gillespie will see you later.
Quite.
Why did he have to leave him in my office? Why couldn't it have been in yours?
Fortune's a war, old boy.
Quite.
Well, I'll spend the night in research on diets. You spend it with Dr. Brownlee. I'll see you in the morning with Mrs. Carew when she comes in for her examination.
Oh, splat. Now,
Mrs. Carew, we've conducted a most thorough examination. We find you in excellent physical condition. Correct, Dr. Gillespie?
Correct.
Quite.
Thank you, Dr. Brown.
Now there's nothing to stop you from going on a diet immediately.
I was afraid there wouldn't be.
I have a diet here for you. You will note that for breakfast you may have half a grapefruit, no sugar, 1 piece of dry toast, black coffee.
I don't like grapefruit. I hate dry toast, and I loathe black coffee.
Courage, Angela. Courage.
Courage.
Yes, courage. Now for lunch you may have a delicious salad of lettuce, mineral oil dressing, or lemon juice. For dinner, coddled eggs, with a plain green vegetable, no corn, peas, lima beans, or potatoes.
No, none at all.
None.
Now, you'll find a different menu there for each day of the week. Now, you mustn't deviate from it.
Well, I'll try.
Now then, there's also a course of exercise. First, every morning I want you to bend down and touch your toes. 50 times.
50 times?
Yes, very easy, like this.
Try harder, Kildare. You can make it now. Attaboy.
Bravo! Thank you so much. Well, you get the idea, Angela.
Yes, I know what you mean, all right, but I don't know if I can make it.
Well, try. Open the window. Do your exercises with vigor. Remember the Nordic maidens. Be one of those.
Charming girls.
Why, Brownie, who'd ever think that you'd notice anything like that?
Then, put your hands on your hips and swing as far to the left and as far to the right as you can. Do that 20 times.
I'm getting tired just thinking about it.
Now, this is Monday. I want you to come in on Thursday and be weighed. And then I'll give you a diet for the next few days and some more exercises. You should notice very rapid results.
Yeah, and we'll all cheer you from the sideline.
Excelsior and all that sort of thing.
Yes, so goodbye. I'll see you on Thursday. Toodaloo.
Goodbye, Angela.
Good luck.
Charles.
Dr. Kildare, I sent for you because I have a pain in my back, and I thought you might be able to help me.
Does it seem to be muscular?
Oh, yes, it's muscular, all right. It's those confounded exercises you gave Angela.
What do they have to do with you?
She makes me do them with her. She says it's more chummy that way, and I'm on a diet, too.
Oh? Well, what kind of results are you getting?
Lost 4 pounds.
Really?
Yes, a pound a day. And I don't mind telling you that it's ruining my disposition. I can't seem to radiate like I could a week ago. The arch in my instep is gone. I don't like people.
I'll bet you don't. But I didn't prescribe the diet for you. I don't recommend it for you. You're thin enough as it is.
Angela says I shouldn't ask anyone to do a thing I wouldn't do myself.
Well, at any rate, I shall certainly look forward to weighing Mrs. Carew. Mrs. Carew, let me take another look at that scale.
Well, it couldn't say 153. That would mean I'd gained 3 pounds.
Yes. Well, that's what it says, all right. Did you stay on your diet?
I certainly did. I had a horrid old chunk of lettuce with lemon juice on it for lunch. And last night I had boiled codfish and raw tomatoes. And yesterday noon I had a raw vegetable salad and then some black coffee.
How could you possibly gain 3 pounds when
Your diet's no good. It's no good at all. You don't know a thing about diets.
Oh, now, that's not true.
Well, if you do, why haven't I lost weight?
I don't know. But let me tell you something, Mrs. Carew. I'm going to find out.
I'll have a double chocolate malt, please.
Coming right up, man.
Why, Mrs. Carew, having a cup of black coffee?
Kildare, what are you doing here?
Oh, just happened to be going in the same direction as you.
Have you been following me?
I've been following you for 3 days. When you've gone into a restaurant, I've been outside looking in to see what you ordered, and if I couldn't do it myself, I had someone else
How
follow
dare you spy on me?
I had to find out. Now, I have the record right here. Yesterday,
I had half a head of lettuce with lemon juice for lunch. And
That's right, you did. At Brown's. But at 3:55, you had a double chocolate ice cream soda.
Well, I dieted at lunch, didn't I?
And this morning at 10 o'clock, you stopped for a hot chocolate. And now you're having...
double malted, lady.
If you don't mind, the lady will have black coffee. I'll have the chalk malt. Mrs. Carew, you've been cheating.
But I've dieted at mealtimes. I've never done that before.
You can't just diet at mealtimes. You've got to diet all day long. Now, look here. I'm not trying to be mean and spy on you. I have a job to do, and I've got to do it. My job is to get 20 pounds off of you, but I can't do it without your help and cooperation.
23 pounds.
That's right.
Oh.
23 pounds.
Here's your black coffee, lady.
Thanks.
Oh, there now. You're going to get your coffee all full of tears. You mustn't feel bad just because...
Excuse me, Dr. Kildare. I don't care for any coffee.
Some people would take candy from a baby.
Yes, and some people would give it to one.
So that's the story.
That's it. In 1 week, Dr. Carew has lost 6 pounds. His wife has gained 4.
Shocking.
Exactly the way I feel, Dr. Brownlee.
Furthermore, Carew has caught a bad cold, and he's blaming that on us, too. He says we've undermined his physical condition.
Well, he shouldn't be dieting. He knows that.
Well, I suppose we might as well throw in the towel.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Might I make a suggestion?
Of course.
Perhaps Mrs. Carew needs an incentive.
What kind of an incentive?
Well, I've always found a mink coat to be quite tempting.
Say, you may have something there. Suppose Dr. Carew were to promise Mrs. Carew a mink coat in exchange for that extra poundage.
Ah, that old skinflint. He'd know more.
He might be tricked into it.
Kildare, would you be guilty of stooping to a low trick to get this weight off Mrs. Carew and getting a mink coat out of Bumpy?
I would.
So would I. I'm with you, mate.
Well, then. Gather round, mates, gather round. Let's hatch a plot.
We return to the story of Dr. Kildare in just a moment. Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Well, what does the scale say, Dr. Kildare?
You can see it as well as I can, Angela.
155.
Mm-hmm. Angela, I want to talk to you. Sit down. Sit down. Do you know what I heard your husband say the other day?
No.
I heard him say it would be worth a mink coat to him to have you take off that weight.
A mink coat? Bumpy said a mink coat.
That's exactly what he said.
What?
Good morning, Angela, my dear.
Morning.
Dr. Gillespie, Dr. Kildare says he heard Bumpy say it's worth a mink coat to him to have me lose that weight.
That's exactly what he said. Wasn't it, Dr. Brownlee?
Quite.
Well, I'm certainly willing to starve for a mink coat.
Well, and what do the scales say? Alfred, what does the scales say?
Oh, Bumpy, darling, I'm going to starve myself to ribbons. Any girl would go on a diet for a mink coat.
A mink coat?
Yes, Dr. Kildare told me that you said it's worth a mink coat to have me take that weight off.
Kildare, I'm shocked. Shocked, astounded, and hurt. No, don't interrupt. Hurt is what I meant. To think that one of my colleagues...
Oh, you mean you didn't say it, Bumpy?
Ah, of course he said it. I heard him myself. And so did Brownie. Didn't you, Brownie?
Quite, Gilzer.
And Dr. Carew is going to be so proud of you when he sees you dance, Angela.
Very well. Very well. I know how to play the sport when I'm cornered. Angela will have her coat if she takes off the weight.
Oh, Bumpy, you're the most wonderful man in the world.
But from now on, someone else will have to eat with her and exercise with her. Kildare, I want you to exercise with Angela. And Dr. Gillespie, I want you to eat with her. And Dr. Brownlee, you may do either and both.
Well, we'll do it, won't we, mates? We've put our shoulder to the wheel and we'll heave-ho.
Kind of heroic, isn't it?
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to bed.
The lady and I will each have one piece of dry toast, 1/2 a grapefruit, and black coffee.
And I.
Sorry, Brownie, I'm sorry. I forgot you for the moment. Waiter, we who are about to diet salute you.
I'm tired.
Oh, cheer up.
Oh.
We've only 20 more blocks to go.
Where's Brownie?
Oh, he's sitting back on the curb there. He'll catch up before we're at the hospital. Come on, Angela. Squad's right.
3 coddled eggs and 3 raw tomatoes.
Yes, sir. Will that be all, sir?
Angela?
That's all.
Brownie?
That's all.
We have some fresh and very special banana cream pie.
Would you mind doing me the extreme favor of dropping dead, old chap?
that fall, Angela. You can make it. That's it.
My tennis is improving at any rate.
So's your fall, old girl. So's your fall. A stalk of celery, a broiled lamb chop, and plain boiled spinach.
All right. Bend down, touch your toes. 1, 2, 1.
Dr. Kildare, look at the scale. Look at it. 118. I weigh 118 pounds. Well, how do you like it?
Angela, without a doubt, that is the most beautiful mink coat I've ever seen.
It's really ripping, old girl.
It really is.
Cost a fortune. Angela, what are you doing? Don't sit down in that coat. You're sitting on thousands of dollars.
Oh, you know, Bumpy, I'm going to need a whole new wardrobe.
You're going to what?
Yes. None of my clothes fit anymore. I've got this dress pinned together with safety pins.
Well, just pin the rest of them together with a safety pin.
Oh, but Bumpy made me take the weight off, and after all, he wants me to look attractive.
All right, Angela, all right. But just a very few simple things. Remember, I'm only the poor, struggling head of a hospital.
Oh, I'll remember, Bumpy. And thank you, Dr. Kildare. I'll always be grateful for what you've done for me.
Oh, I didn't do anything except perhaps function as your conscience and as your coach. You did it yourself. Now, if you're careful, you'll be able to keep the weight off. And I know you're going to feel a lot better.
I'll keep it off. Well, I have to run. I have a rehearsal with the orchestra for my dance, and I want you to know I'm wearing the same costume I wore the night Bumpy asked me to marry him.
Angela, that dress is much too low.
Oh, you didn't say that then, Bumpy.
Well, I wasn't married to you then.
All right, darling, I'll fix it. See you all later. Bye, Dr. Gillespie, you sweet old grumpy you.
Yeah. Toodaloo, Angela.
Bye, Bonnie.
Hip, hip.
She really looks kind of wonderful, doesn't she?
She does indeed. I'm well pleased indeed. Dr. Brownlee, you'll have a fine report to take back to England on our medical methods in this country, won't you?
Quite.
Kildare, Gillespie, you both look a little run down to me. You'd better take a tonic. Well, I must away to my office to... good day, gentlemen.
Good day. Bumpy.
Say, if you two intend to specialize in diets, I'd like to take off a pound or two.
Not on your life.
We're finished, Molly. Once around the course is about all any of us could take.
No, quite. You know, on the whole, the process was inclined to be rather exhausting. I suggest we all three take a tonic and retire to our beds.
Quite.
Well, if things get hard up in the hospital, you could always open a charm school. Kildare and Gillespie's glamour school.
Thanks, Molly. I'm going to stick to medicine.
Ditto.
Exclamation mark, don't you know?
On the whole, it's been a satisfactory operation.
Yes, we made a new woman of Angela. We helped the hospital wing, and we made Dr. Carew spend some money.
Yes, on the whole, it has been very satisfactory. Quite.
In just a moment, we will return to the story of Dr. Kildare. And now, once again, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Waiter, I want a thick cream of chicken soup to start with. Then I want lobster a la Newburgh, mashed potatoes and gravy, with a side order of French fries, some corn on the cob with lots of butter, and hot rolls. And for dessert, I want ice cream with fudge sauce on apple pie. There.
Dr. Gillespie, do you think that, after all, the way you've been eating is...
That's what I want, and that's what I intend to eat, and hang the consequence.
And I'll have the same.
And me.
You know, Brownie, we're going to miss you. I'm sorry you're going home. We're certainly grateful to you for helping us with Angela Carew.
It was nothing, old boy. I was glad to help out.
You know, Brownlee, it's been very refreshing to have someone around who doesn't talk all the time.
I've had a very pleasant time indeed, and I shall enjoy telling everyone about my two friends, Dr. Gillespie and Dr. Kildare. And may I consider myself at liberty to repeat the story of Mrs. Carew's diet?
Oh, of course, as long as you give yourself credit for the mink coat.
Quite.
You have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Dr. Kildare is presented by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Producers of Malaya, starring Spencer Tracy, James Stewart, Valentina Cortesa, Sidney Greenstreet, and John Hodiak. This program was written by Gene Holloway and directed by William P. Russo. Original music was composed and conducted by Walter Schumann. Supporting cast included Eleanor Audley, Ted Osborne, Ann Stone, Jay Novello, and Herb Ellis. Dick Joy speaking.
Bang. That old black magic has me in its spell. That old black magic that you weave so well. Those icy fingers up and down my spine. The same old witchcraft when your eyes meet mine, the same old tingle that I feel inside. And then that elevator starts its ride, and down I go, round and round I go, like a leaf that's caught in the tide. I should stay away, but what can I do? I hear your name, and I'm aflame with such a burning desire that only your kiss can put out the fire. For you're the lover I have waited for, the mate that fate had me created for. And every time your lips meet mine, darling, down I go, round and round I go, in a spin, loving the spin I'm in, under that old black magic called love. That old black magic called love.
Splendid, splendid. Well, you know, St. Patrick's Day is just 2 days off. Just around the corner, you might say, and many happy Hibernians as well as other jolly souls will celebrate by wearing the green, parading, whooping it up, exchanging boisterous blarney, and just generally making it a big day in honor of the patron saint of Ireland. Of course, the day also carries a deep religious significance. Those, then, are the well-known aspects of St. Patrick's Day, but I wonder how many of us ever think of food in connection with this day. Oh, a belt or two of Irish, yeah, but what about the food? Now, would you care to guess what a typical St. Patrick's Day dinner would be in comparison with turkey and dressing and so forth on Thanksgiving and Christmas? Or ham and Easter, or potato salad, deviled eggs, cold cuts, and watermelon on the 4th of July picnic, things like that? Would you like to hazard a guess? Or did you know that there was a typical or traditional Irish feast for St. Patrick's Day? Oh, there is, I'll tell you that. As usual, a typical St. Pat's dinner will be served at Kavanaugh's. That's the New York Irish landmark on West 23rd Street on the 17th. Now, Kavanaugh's loves old Ireland, loves to prove that there's more to the country than shamrocks, shillelaghs, and mulligan stew. And believe me, Kavanaugh's food proves it, too. Of course, anyone who's ever wielded a knife and fork in Ireland and tasted the wonderful beef, bacon, butter, ham, salmon, Dublin Bay shrimp, and the real Irish potatoes knows that the old sod produces food that cannot be rivaled anywhere on the face of the earth. Now, this Irish dinner to be served at Kavanaugh's in New York will necessarily have some North American substitutions, but everything will still be grand, you can bet on that. And the harps will sing and the pipes will play. Now, stand by, will you? We're going to hit you with the menu. Let's start with Dublin Bay prawns. Not Irish, but fine shrimp from Florida. But the Killarney sauce is of Irish origin. And the Clare beef soup, with added marrow, is the Golden Vale soup from County Clare, Ireland's richest pasture land. Rare properties are attributed to this broth. It's said to fortify the inner man against a possible increased intake of the Iskebatha. Iskebatha being Gaelic for whiskey, in case you didn't know. Maybe the Batha part means don't bathe in it. I wouldn't know. Well, the salmon is from Nova Scotia, but poached in the Irish way and served with sauce vert and Kerry blue potatoes. White potatoes from Maine. Next, roast saddle of lamb, done according to a special recipe straight from the Emerald Isle. Now then, make way for some baked ham. The ham is truly Limerick. You know the hams and bacon from Ireland, don't you? They're great. Now then, what do we top this fine meal off with, huh? What dessert will we have there? Well, according to the chef at Kavanaugh's, it's going to be dairy apple tart. Ooh, wow, what a meal. What a meal. I may fly into New York just for dinner, but now I have a bit of an Irish song. It's a lovely one, too.
Did your mother come from Ireland? 'Cause there's something in you Irish. Won't you tell me where you get those Irish eyes? And before she left Killarney, did your mother kiss the Blarney? 'Cause that little touch of brogue you can't disguise. Oh, I wouldn't be romancing. I can almost see you dancing while the Kerry pipers play. Sure, and maybe we'll be sharing in the shamrock you'll be wearing on the next St. Patrick's Day. Did your mother come from Ireland? 'Cause there's something in you Irish, and that bit of Irish steals my heart away.
Girls, how many different kinds of bulbs do you use in and around your house? Count them sometimes. You'll be amazed. Now, let me give you a clue as to how many of them were introduced by General Electric. Fluorescent lights in your kitchen, introduced by GE. Three-way bulbs in your reading lamp, courtesy of GE. Soft white bulbs in your vanity lamps, a GE development. It's not too surprising, really, when you think that General Electric comes out with a new or improved bulb on the average of every other working day. That's why it pays to look for the GE monogram when you buy bulbs. Put GE bulbs on your shopping list today. Very stylish, Buddy and group. Stylish indeed. You know what tune I'd like to hear, Rosemary?
No, Ken, what's that?
In the Middle of an Island.
In the middle of an island, huh? That's a little rock and rolly for you, isn't it, Ken?
Oh, no. I'm very large with the rock and roll. I love it.
Well, I'm glad to see that you're so modern, Ken.
Well, I try to keep up.
Well, this is quite a song to keep up with.
Yeah, really bounces along, doesn't it?
Sure does. And, of course, I think that we should mention that Mr. Buddy Cole is very, very inspired on the organ part in this piece.
Yes, I love the way Buddy Cole played the organ the other day. Maybe we can coax him to do it again.
Oh, I think we can. He's very agreeable.
Here's In the Middle of an Island, folks.
You and I beneath the moonlight, just the monkeys and the palm trees, in the middle of an island, plenty time to do some kissing, plenty time for lots of loving, and walking barefoot in the sand. Though there's no island at all, just a picture on my wall. My darling, how I wish we could be in the middle of an island, in the middle of the ocean, you and I forever, darling, in our paradise for two. Though there's no island at all, just a picture on my wall. My darling, how I wish we could be in the middle of an island, in the middle of the ocean, you and I forever, darling, in our paradise for two.
Isn't it about time for a board of directors meeting, Bing?
Yes, it certainly is. We have a quorum. What's on the docket?
We have to select the duets. That's
What's already been selected, Rosie. Buddy Cole found a good suggestion in the Chinese fortune cookie, of all places.
We thought that love was over, that we were really through.
I said I didn't love her. We'd begin anew.
And you can all believe me, we sure intended to. But we just couldn't say goodbye. The chair and then the sofa, they broke right down and cried.
The curtains started waving for me to come inside.
I tell you confidentially, the tears were hard to hide, and we just couldn't say goodbye. The clock was striking 12 o'clock. It smiled on us below.
With folded hands, it seemed to say, we'll miss you if you go. So I went back and kissed her. When I looked around, the room was singing love songs, dancing up and down.
And now we're both so happy, because at last we found that we just couldn't say goodbye.
Back and kissed her. When I look around, the room was singing love songs, dancing up and down.
And now we're both so happy, because at last we found
that we just couldn't say goodbye.
It's gentle as a flower's smell, gentle as a tinkle bell. It's gentle, gentle Fells, the only dishwashing detergent with lanolin D to protect your hands. Lanolin D, the very essence of skin beauty, leaves your hands soft and lovely. Only Gentle Fell's clear golden liquid contains Lanolin D. Dishes and glasses dry sparkling clean, never spotty or streaked. For a spotless reputation, Gentle Fell's, F-E-L-S, Fell's.
This is the theme song from David Selznick's epic motion picture Gone with the Wind. My own true love, my own true love, at last I've found you, my own true love. No lips but yours, no arms but yours will ever lead me through heaven's doors. I roamed the earth in search of this, and I knew I'd know you by your kiss, by your kiss. You've shown true love. I'm yours forever, my own true love. Of this, I knew I'd know you by your kiss, by your kiss. You've shown true love. I'm yours forever. That's all for today, friends.
But you can catch us tomorrow at the same spot on your dial.
So long for now.
Thank you very much.
Great Scenes from Great Plays, with your host, Walter Hamden, and starring tonight Miss Joan Caulfield in Little Women. Each week at this time, the Episcopal families of your own community and the Episcopal Actors Guild invite you to share the dramatic inspiration of great scenes from great plays as transcribed by famous artists of stage, screen, and radio. And now, here is your host, the distinguished actor-manager, Mr. Walter Hamden.
Thank you, and good evening.
One of the most beloved stories in all our literature is Louisa May Alcott's Little Women, and with good reason, I believe, for though our homes today may be very different from the March family home in the story, still the laughter, the happy moments, and the sad ones in the lives of Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy are mirrors of youth the world over. Tonight we are honored to have in the role of the forthright, impetuous Jo, who wants to play big brother to her sisters and keep the family together, the delightful young star of stage and screen, Miss Joan Caulfield.
Thank you, Mr. Hamden. And because I've always wanted to play Jo, ever since I first read about her in Little Women, I'm especially pleased about being with you in tonight's play. I hope it will bring back for everyone listening the same happy memories Jo brings to me.
I'm sure it will, Joan. And we're also happy to have with us tonight Betty Caulfield as Amy and Stefan Schnabel as Professor Bear. So let us raise the curtain now on Little Women. The March family house is big and old and somewhat shabby, and it rests in a dignified, if slightly lopsided position, well back from the tree-shaded street in a small New England town. When we first meet the March girls, it's a Christmas Eve in the early 1860s. In the parlor, a bright fire is crackling in the old-fashioned hearth, casting its warm glow on the lovely faces of the four sisters gathered round. On womanly Meg, the eldest.
It is indeed dreadful to be poor at Christmas time.
On blonde Amy, the youngest.
I agree with you, Meg. I think it's utterly unfair for some girls to have all the pretty things they want and others nothing at all.
On shy and gentle Beth, bending over her embroidery.
Well, at least we have father and mother and each other.
And on Jo, harum-scarum Jo with the flashing gray eyes and the beautiful brown hair and the flyaway look to her clothes.
Well, Christopher Columbus, we haven't got Father.
Jo!
Well, we haven't, Meg. Not while he's away at the wars, we don't.
Father said it was his bounden duty as a chaplain to be with the suffering soldiers.
Well, Christopher Columbus, who said it wasn't? All I wish is he could have taken me along with him, that's all.
Oh, Jo, you aren't serious.
Oh, am I not, though? When Johnny comes marching home again, hooray, hooray.
Jo!
What's the matter?
I wish you wouldn't shout, Jo. It's so dreadfully boyish.
Oh, fiddlesticks. It's a perfectly lovely way to express your feelings. Especially when your feelings are all hungry.
Oh, Marmee will be home soon, Jo, and then we'll have some nice tea and toast.
I know, kitten. I was just mourning the perfectly bully breakfast Marmee gave away this morning.
I can still smell those buckwheat cakes. Well, I'm glad Marmee gave away my Christmas breakfast to those poor Hummel people. I wouldn't have enjoyed a bite, knowing all the while that a whole family was starving.
Just you wait and see, Meg. Mother won't have to work so hard anymore, and Christopher Columbus.
What's the matter?
Jo. Well, the play. We've forgotten all about the play.
Oh, Jo, not again.
Oh, Jo, we've been rehearsing your old play every day for a week.
Well, you don't want it to be all bumbly and fumbly again for Marmee, do you? Well, we'll start with the fainting scene. You're stiff as a poker in that, Amy.
I can't help it, Jo. I never saw anyone fainting. And besides, I'm all black and blue now from tumbling around. From now on, if I can go down easily, I'll drop. If I can't, I shall fall into a chair and be graceful.
Christopher Columbus, you can't faint into a chair, Amy. People don't faint into nice, soft chairs. They faint right down on the floor with a plop, like this.
Oh, Jo. Get up, Jo, quick. There are two gentlemen at the front door.
Well, let them in.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Won't you come in?
Thank you.
Oh, Jo, do get up.
I know you. You're the boy from across the street.
I'm Laurie. And you're the one they call Jo.
Oh, how bully of you
Jo.
Oh, excuse me.
Well.
This is my sister, Meg.
How do you do, Miss Meg?
How do you do?
I always watch your games, Miss Jo. Oh, excuse me. This is my tutor, Mr. Brooke.
How do you do, Mr. Brooke?
How do you do? Master Laurie will explain our presence here, Miss Meg.
What? Oh, I am here with the compliments of my grandfather. My grandfather heard about the breakfast you gave away this morning and asks, wouldn't you please, as a favor to a lonely old man on Christmas, accept this dinner.
Oh, thank you.
If you should ever want to borrow my bicycle, Miss Joe...
Master Laurie.
Oh, hey, excuse me. And the very best of Christmases to you, one and all, from us. One and all.
Merry Christmas.
Good day, ladies.
Oh, good
Merry
night.
Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Oh, how nice of Mr. Brooke.
Christopher Columbus. A whole plummy Christmas dinner. Look at that. And look here.
Oh, I smell plum pudding. And I smell turkey. Oh, wait until Marmee sees this. Oh, Meg, isn't this just...
Mr. Brooke.
Oh, what's the matter with her?
He had such lovely manners.
Oh, Christopher Columbus, a whole beautiful Christmas dinner standing here before us, and you start mooning about it. Oh, let's get the food on the table before Marmee gets here.
Joe, as you can see, was not one for sentiment. At least, not yet. Joe considered herself the man of the family, now that Father March was away, and was inclined to look with a rather scornful eye on such girlish fancies as manners and fashion and parties and balls.
Joe! Oh, Joe, look. A regular note of invitation from Mrs. Gardner for tomorrow night. Isn't that wonderful, Joe? Oh, what shall we wear?
And what's the use of asking what, Meg? When you know we should wear our poplins because we haven't got anything else.
I don't see how you can go on calmly eating apples at a time like this, Joe. Oh, if I only had a silk dress.
Christopher Columbus, I forgot. My dress is burnt in the back, and it shows horribly.
Oh, dear. Well, then you'll just have to sit still all you can and keep your back out of sight. Now, let me see. I'll wear a ribbon in my hair, and my gloves are clean, though they aren't as nice as I'd like.
Oh, mine are spoilt with lemonade, so I shall have to go without.
Oh, Joe, you can't go without gloves. I'd be mortified if you did.
I can hold them crunched in my hand so no one will see. No, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll each wear one good and carry one bad. Then no one will know. Isn't that good?
Oh, but Joe, your hands are bigger than mine, and you'll stretch my gloves dreadfully.
Oh, then I'll go without.
Oh, all right. All right. You may have my glove. Only don't dirty it. And don't keep saying Christopher Columbus, and do act like a lady, will you?
I'll be as prim as a dish of prunes.
Joe tried so terribly hard to be prim and sedate that before the party was half over, she was bored to tears. Her only moment of fun came when she stuffed her pockets with cake to take home to Beth and Amy. No one could say that Joe didn't look after her family. In fact, sometime after the party, on a particular April morning, her family was very much on her mind as she hurried out of a strange-looking building downtown.
Oh, Laurie, how did you know I was upstairs?
I trailed you.
You had no right to, Laurie. You had no right to.
Well, I just wanted to make sure no harm came to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Laurie, but I wanted it to be a secret.
Even from me?
Yes.
If you tell me, Joe...
I can't, Laurie.
I'll tell you one.
What's it about?
Not until you tell yours.
Well, but you mustn't tell now. Not a soul.
Oh, I won't.
Well, I've sold a story, Laurie.
What?
I have. I've been taking my stories up to this newspaper upstairs, Laurie, and first he said I needed more practice, and after a while he seemed to like them more, and now I've sold one. Oh, think of it, Laurie. I actually sold a story for $1.50. Isn't it magnificent?
Oh, I'll say. Oh, when are you going to tell your family?
Oh, that's just it, Laurie. I want to surprise them. I'm going to buy something for Marmee with the money. Every time I sell a story, I'll get something for somebody in the family. So it'll make things easier at home, don't you see? Oh, I'm so happy, Laurie. I'm so happy I can do something for them all at last. Now, what's your secret?
Well, you'll be surprised when you hear it.
Well, what is it?
Well, remember the picnic we had last week and we couldn't find Meg's glove?
You mean the time your tutor came along with us? Yes.
Well, I know where the glove is.
You do?
Yeah.
Where is it?
In his pocket.
Whose pocket?
Brooks.
Your tutor's pocket?
Yep.
All this time?
Yep. Isn't it romantic?
No, it's not. It's not romantic. I think it's horrid.
Horrid? Why, Joe!
He's trying to spoil everything. That's what he's trying to do.
And I won't let him. I won't.
Well, Joe!
He's trying to break up our family and take Meg from us, but I won't let him. Never, never, never.
Well, Meg, I suppose your John will be coming around soon. He does every day now for one excuse or another.
Don't say my John. It isn't proper or true. And I've told you I don't care about him, so please let's not say any more about it.
Any more about it? Christopher Columbus, everything's spoiled already. And soon he'll be pussyfooting around asking you to marry him. And you'll say yes, and the family will be a shambles.
Really, Joe, don't be so childish. Besides, I can't say anything till he speaks.
And when he does, you'll probably burst into tears and say, oh, yes, John, yes, yes, yes.
Oh, don't be silly.
Well, if you ask my advice...
Oh, there's Mommy calling now. And I'll thank you not to discuss Mr. Brooke in such a silly way anymore, Josephine March.
All right, but don't you go being silly and dashing off with him. Coming, Marmee.
Now, Mommy's running toward us. Something's the matter.
No.
Mommy.
No, you're not to get excited, children. You're not to get excited.
What's the matter, Marmee? What's happened?
Get Beth and Amy.
Marmee, what's... A telegram?
Let me see, Joe. Your husband very ill in Washington Hospital. Come at once. Oh, no. I think everything you'll need is packed now, Mother.
Thank you, Meg.
I put your shawl in, Marmee. I thought you would want your shawl with you.
Yes, Beth, dear, that was very wise.
Oh, why doesn't Joe get back? She went to Aunt March's hours ago.
Maybe Aunt March won't lend her the money.
Now, let's not get nervous, children. Let's not any of us get nervous. With the Lord's help.
Oh, there's Joe now. Oh, Joe wouldn't ring the bell. It couldn't be. Oh, Mr. Brooke.
Won't you come in?
Oh, yes. I'm very sorry to hear of this, Mrs. March.
Thank you, Mr. Brooke. You're very kind.
I've come to tell you that I'm going along.
Going along?
To Washington?
Why, yes. Mr. Lawrence has a commission for me in Washington, and I've come to offer myself as escort.
Oh, you're too kind.
Oh, not at all. I merely happen to be going to Washington.
You're wonderfully kind. John?
Oh, Meg. Oh, Meg, do you really think so?
Yes, John.
Oh, am I too late? Am I too late? I ran all the way.
Joe, child, you're all out of breath. You...
Oh, Joe! I look different, don't I?
She's cut off all her hair.
Oh, Joe, you look awful. You look like a toothbrush. Well, I don't care. The man gave me $25 for it.
$25?
Oh, here, Mother. It's for the trip. Aunt March wouldn't
give... Oh, Joe. My dear, dear Joe.
Well, what's everybody standing around for? What are we all staring at? We got the money, didn't we? Well, you don't think I mind about my hair, do you?
Well, they say that time fixes everything. Joe's beautiful brown hair grew back in time, and Father March got well again. And in time, Meg forgot Joe's warning not to spoil things and said yes to John Brooke. And Joe began to feel a strange restlessness she had never known before.
I don't understand, dear. You want to leave us? You want to go away altogether?
It's not quite that, Mother. It's... Oh, Mother.
Well, try to explain it to me, Joe, and I'll try to understand.
Well, Meg's gone now, and Aunt March has asked Amy to go to Europe with her for the summer.
But it will be a wonderful opportunity for Amy.
I know, Mother. And there really isn't enough for me to do around here, Mother, anymore, and I thought of going to New York.
New York?
Oh, now, please, don't start shaking your head,
Oh,
Mother.
no.
Well, your dear friend, Mrs. Kirk, is in New York, and she's been writing and writing for someone to teach her children, and besides, I'd be doing something to help, and... Oh, Mother, I've got to do something for the family, or I shall simply die.
All right, dear. All right, Joe. I understand.
Joe went to New York, and at first in the big, unfamiliar city, Joe was a stranger to everyone, and everyone was a stranger to her, and she was lonely. But one evening, as Jo was coming home from another of her visits to the newspaper editors, she passed a certain door on the second floor of Mrs. Kirk's boarding house.
Oh, dear.
Good evening.
Oh,
You knocked, Fräulein?
oh, no. I mean, it was my umbrella. It knocked.
Ah, I see.
I was just going by, and I happened to stop for a moment. Your song was so pretty.
You are lonely.
Lonely? Oh, good heavens, no, I'm never lonely. I am new here.
Ah, yes. I, too, am new here, Fräulein. Allow me, Professor Baer of Vienna. I'm here to teach.
And allow me, I am Josephine March. I am here to write.
Oh, so.
Well, I guess I'd better be getting upstairs. I have so much to do, so many...
Miss March.
Yes?
Perhaps sometime when you have not so much to do, you said that you write. You will allow me to read the stories you write sometime when you're free.
Oh, you can read them right now. You can read them right this minute. Don't you move now. I'll be back in a second. Oh.
But Joe, Miss March. Well, I don't see what is so funny.
It's those socks.
Well, I don't know what is wrong with those socks. I mended them very well, I think.
Oh, too well. Look, these black ones mended with white wool, and these blue ones with brown wool, and these brown ones
Well,
with...
I never seem to have the wool and the socks together at the same time.
Well, I can see that. Oh, your socks are a disgrace, Professor Baer.
I'm sorry.
From now on, I will mend them for you.
But you do...
In return for the German you've been teaching me.
Oh, that I like.
I warn you, I still know very little German.
And I warn you, I have very many socks. No, Miss March, no.
No?
No.
Well, the editor of the Weekly Volcano seems to think it's pretty good. In fact, he says my stories are going over very well indeed.
Then let me congratulate you that they go over.
Thank you. Well, what's wrong with it?
Everything.
Everything? The editor of the Weekly Volcano says it's... Well, what is wrong with it?
Well, the characters are not from life. One.
Well, they can do more exciting things that way.
That is true. Now, let me see. Yeah, here. The Witch's Curse.
The editor of the Weekly Volcano says it's a stunning title.
I see here 3 murders, 1 suicide, 2 kidnappings, 1 fire in the house, 1 fire out of the house, and here the other one. The Curse of the Coventrys.
Well, the curse of the Coventrys paid the butcher's bill at home, and a phantom hand put down a new carpet. And I expect the witch's curse to send my sister Beth to the seashore for a month.
Oh?
She isn't well.
Oh, forgive me.
No, that's quite all right.
No, I'm not all right. I'm all wrong, and I'm stupid besides. Well, I don't imagine you will ever want to talk to me again now. I don't see why you should. I wouldn't want to either. There might be somebody in New York more stupid than I, but I don't know who it is. Probably nobody.
Oh, all right, all right. Please don't look so mournful. I forgive you.
You do. You are very talented, very kind, very good, very... I am very hungry.
Oh, honestly?
I'll tell you what. Let us celebrate by having a wonderful dinner in a wonderful restaurant. We will have music and wine and... What's the matter?
When did this get here?
What?
This telegram. It's for me. I didn't see it here on the hall table. Oh, no.
What is it? What is the matter?
It's Beth.
Your little sister?
It says, come at once. But that can't be, Beth. You must get well. You will.
No, Joe. I won't. Oh, I want to. I can't tell you how much I want to. But every day I lose a little more of life. It's like the tide, Joe. When it turns, it goes slowly. But it can't be stopped.
Oh, no, Beth. You're too young. I won't let you go. I'll work and pray and fight. Oh, there must be ways. It can't be too late, Beth.
Joe, you'll stand by Father and Mother.
I won't let you say such things.
Oh, I wish I could say I'm glad to go. But I love life so.
Oh, please, Beth, don't.
I don't know how to express myself. And I shouldn't try to anyone but you, Joe. But I've just got to tell you this. That all along, I felt it was not intended I should live long.
Oh, don't.
No, please don't stop me. Oh, I'm not like the rest of you. I never made any plans about what I'd do when I grew up. I never thought of being married as you all did. I couldn't seem to imagine myself anything but stupid little Beth, trotting about at home of no use anywhere but there. I never wanted to go away. And the hard part now is leaving you all. I'm not afraid, but it seems as if I should be homesick for you, even in heaven.
Oh, Beth, Beth, darling.
How am I to tell you what happened now? By and by, the needle with which Beth loved to embroider became too heavy, and soon she put it down forever. Sometimes it seemed as though Joe would break down completely. And so the spring days came and went, the sky grew clearer, the earth greener, the flowers were up fair and early, and the birds came back in time to say goodbye to Beth. And no one in the world seemed so alone as Joe was then.
Why don't you try to write, Joe? Writing always used to make you happy.
I've no heart to write, Mother.
Perhaps if you just tried.
It's no use. Nobody'd care for the sort of things I'd want to say now anyway.
Well, we would. Your father and Meg and John and Amy and Laurie. Joe.
Yes, Mother?
I got a letter from Amy.
I know.
She met Laurie in Paris. They said they're engaged.
I know.
Joe.
Yes, Mother?
Oh, were you ever... did you...
If you're trying to ask me, was I ever in love with Laurie, Mother? No. Not Laurie.
Not Laurie? Joe.
Oh, Mother, please. Please, I don't want to talk anymore. I can't talk anymore.
The weeks went by, spring turned to summer and summer to fall, and winter came, but nothing seemed to change with Joe. Despair seemed to have settled upon her, and a loneliness that nothing seemed to shake. And then it was Christmas again. The whole family, Amy and Laurie, Meg and John, Father and Mother, were gathered in the parlor around the old-fashioned piano when there was a knock on the door. Joe went to open it.
Good evening, Miss March.
Frederick, I mean Professor Bear.
Am I intruding?
Intruding? Oh, you don't know how... Oh, do come in, come in.
But you seem to have a party. Maybe I'd better come back some other time.
Oh, no, don't go. I mean, it's no party, it's just the family. Do come in and meet them, please.
You have been ill, my friend.
Ill?
You're so pale.
Oh, I'm afraid I've been sad. But everything's going to be all right now. And we have a new bride in the family.
A new bride? Miss March, you are
not...
not...
Oh, no, not me. My sister Amy. She got married in Paris to our dear friend Laurie.
Then you are...
Yes, Frederick.
Joe, I never dared to hope. I tried to stay away. Joe, my dearest, you are crying.
No, I'm not, Frederick. I'm not crying at all. I'm just... Oh, welcome home, darling. Welcome home.
So, it looks like he might be storing it in his attic.
Is the man mad? Not even in a safe or a wardrobe? I mean, I myself have a closet with a lock so strong no man could break into it or out of it. But the attic?
You actually went into the house, Jerry?
Nah, too risky. This bloke always seems to be mooching about, which ain't ideal. But in terms of real security, he hasn't got no alarms or nothing. There's no dogs.
Morning, guys. Oh, hello. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Not at all, Thomas. Come on in and meet my good friend. No, my great friend, Jerry.
Pleased to meet you.
Hi. So how do you and Peter know each other?
Oh, Jerry and I go way back, way back.
We actually met on a job, didn't we, Peter?
Yes, my wife originally hired Jerry to follow me around for a few weeks.
I'm sorry?
He's a private detective, Tom. Keep up.
A bloodhound, a gumshoe, a secret dick. The best there is.
Steady on, Peter. No, Tom. I was a copper. Then a bent copper. And then I got into the private eye game. But I don't do so much anymore. Had to retire a few years ago when a job got me into trouble with my former employers, if you know what I mean.
Not really.
Anyway, when Jerry eventually confronted me in a lovely little basement bar in Soho...
And Peter bought me many a drink.
Oh, we got on famously, and we've been bosom buddies ever since.
We speak on the blower about once a year.
That's a telephone, Tom.
So what brings you to Plum House, Jerry? Just popping in to say hello, or...?
Peter's actually asked me for a bit of help, so I thought I'd come out of retirement for one last job.
Right. And what exactly is that job, Peter?
Nothing major, Tom. Just breaking into somebody's house and stealing a valuable artefact.
What?
Cinnamon bun, Jerry.
Plum House by Ben Cottam and Paul McKenna. Episode 2. Thief Encounter.
Sweets, pencils with rubbers on the end, plum-shaped rubbers.
Alan?
Sorry, Maureen, how does a stock take work again?
Oh, how many times? Just add up exactly what's there and write that number down.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. I've just been writing lots next to anything that we have more than one of.
Oh, useless. Although I don't really know why we're bothering, Alan. We haven't sold anything since the last stock take. And to add insult to injury, this morning my blinking tape player broke.
Can I have a go at fixing that instead? Or maybe I can do it this evening if I get it. Oh, this evening. No.
What?
I forgot I'm having the night off.
The man who works 120 hours a week?
My friend Bill's giving a talk at the Scout Hut tonight. It's on the history of microlight aircraft, and I don't want to go.
Then don't go.
But Bill says he needs an audience. Although, is it an audience if it's just me? His last talk on narrow gauge railways was all right, I suppose. Well, I was asleep in 5 minutes, which was nice. You know me, Maureen. I enjoy a steam train, but I've no interest in solo-powered flight.
Oh, can't you get out of it in some other way?
No, he comes and picks me up now. Ever since I hid in that barrel to avoid his talk on the dangers of woodworm and windmill restoration.
Maureen, are we expecting any visitors today?
No, I shouldn't think so. I haven't had one in weeks. Peter's even scared the postman away because he keeps making him go on tours of the museum.
Well, that's what I thought. But it sounds like the lads are talking to someone new in Peter's office.
Ooh, I wonder who it can be. And I wonder if they want to buy something.
Oh, can I come?
Oh, stay here, you, and finish your counting. And no more biro chewing.
1 paperclip. 2 paperclips. Just lots of paperclips.
No, I'm sorry, Peter. It's completely out of the question.
What's going on in there?
You really are coming across as a bit of a spoilsport here, Thomas.
Peter, you're the creator of a museum, not a master criminal.
You should hear some of Jerry's stories, Tom. He's a legend. He found a stolen Renoir in a bin behind a restaurant.
It was a stolen bin behind a restaurant called Renoir. But still, a very tricky case, baffled Scotland Yard.
Who's the Londoner?
Not a clue, but I don't like him already.
What even is it you want to steal, Peter?
A priceless item of pudding memorabilia, Tom. George Pudding's famous shopping list of 1808. Potatoes, cauliflower, curly kale.
Oh, for God's sake.
Even when dashing off a list of groceries for his staff to purchase, he couldn't help but write some of the greatest poetry of the Romantic age.
It was originally in the possession of Professor Tracy.
A devious pudding scholar of the very worst kind, who for years has refused to loan it to Plum House. But then suddenly, last week, out of the blue, some good news.
He died.
Right.
We had hoped his will may have contained further good news, leaving the list to us. But no, the fool has only gone and left it to some idiot nephew of his, Milton Keynes.
Peter, for the last time, he lives in Milton Keynes. It's a place. The man's called Ralph.
Well, this Ralph fellow, if that is his name, has quickly proven himself to be every bit as difficult as his thankfully now deceased uncle.
Peter's made Ralph a generous offer for the shopping list, but the money-grabbing oik is planning to auction it to the highest bidder.
Peter got in touch and asked if I could find out a little bit more about this Ralph. Stake the place out.
And you came all the way from London just to...
Oh, no, I don't live there anymore. After the police came looking for me, I scarpered sharpish. Never went back.
So Jerry here's going to help us to break into Ralph's house.
I've had enough. I'm sorry, have you all gone completely insane? Robbing an innocent man because he happens to have inherited something you want?
Don't worry, Emma. I'm handling this.
Hello, who's this beauty before me?
Ugh, my name's Emma. Don't try and wheedle out of it.
I meant the lady next to you, love.
My Auntie Pat once stuck a hat pin in a man's crotch that got fresh with her. Don't think I won't do the same, mister. Come on, sling your hook, you cockney scoundrel.
Could everybody calm down, please?
Yeah, chill out, guys.
I know this sounds like a potentially dangerous mission, but with Jerry there helping us, we'll be...
Oh, no, I'm not going to be there for the actual job, Peter.
You're not?
No, far too risky for me. I'm just providing you with the information. Then you lot can get cracking.
Right, enough. No one's going to be stealing anything. Peter, you are going to give me this Ralph's address, and Emma and I are going to drive down to Milton Keynes today and see if Ralph would like to sell us Pudding's shopping list.
Can I come?
No, you cannot. You can stay here with Julian. And if you're bored, give Jerry a tour of the museum.
I wouldn't mind seeing that gift shop.
Not on your Nelly. I've seen Oliver. I know how you lot work. Oh, heck! I bet there's a gang of musical urchins downstairs robbing us as we speak.
Right, come on, Emma. Let's go ring this Ralph. Maybe we can take him out for a late lunch somewhere and see if we can smooth things over.
Finally, a plan I can get behind.
What a shame. And I'm so looking forward to a day of real excitement.
We could always get the chess set out, Peter.
I suppose that'll have to do. Though it tends to get the brain racing more than the heart pumping. Do you play it, Jerry?
Chess? Nah, but I've always wanted to learn. Funny story, actually. The last time the police almost caught up with me, I was down visiting an old acquaintance of mine called Basil, who just pulled up quite successfully.
Alan, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen?
A big group of ladies kidnap me and stroke my hair and make me eat custard till I'm sick.
What?
That happened to me once after Sunday school. I've never got over it.
There's a sneaky southerner in Plum House.
What? From Lancaster?
Even further south than that. London.
Flippin' heck. Sorry for swearing, Maureen.
And the gift shop is fully stocked. He'll take everything, Alan. Bolt the door and get your shotgun.
It's an air rifle, Maureen.
Well, get whatever you've got, 'cause we're being robbed.
What does this one do again?
It's called the Knight, Jerry, and it can either go 2 forward and 1 to the side.
Or 1 forward and 2 to the side. We knights are a cunning bunch. Very useful in certain situations.
Check. Is that the right word?
No, check is when you have my king.
That's actually checkmate, Jerry.
Ah.
Think I've got the hang of this old game now, so I might just go for a little wander instead. Bit peckish, actually.
We've still got those cinnamon buns, Jerry.
Well, quite fancy something warm, you know. So, which way is it to the gift shop and that Maureen lady again?
Just down the stairs and to the left. But be careful, her bite is every bit as bad as her bark.
Don't you worry about me, I'm tougher than I look.
I'll set the pieces for a rematch. I can only put those first 6 games down to beginner's luck.
But, just so you know, if you should both happen to not be here when I get back, then your secret's safe with me. Anyway, just a thought, I'll leave it with you.
Did you understand any of that, Peter? I can never stop staring at his tattoos. Is that a picture of a dolphin on his arm or of his mother?
I believe Jerry was suggesting we should go steal that shopping list ourselves.
Really, Peter? Just the 2 of us? Is it not going to be too dangerous without Jerry?
Well, I don't see why everyone else should get to have all the fun while we're stuck below decks in the good ship Plum House. Today was meant to be a day of action and adventure, swashbuckling and daring-do.
But it's too late. Tom's already left. We've missed our opportunity.
But we all know how slowly Tom drives, like he's stuck behind sheep. And then they'll be having lunch.
You mean...
We get to the address and, acquire the shopping list ourselves while they're out.
Peter.
Come, Julian, you know as well as I do. That shopping list belongs here at Plum House. All Tom will succeed in doing is pushing the price up.
But do we have it in us?
Cast your eyes on this noble countenance, Julian, then the fine physique that sits below it. Was there ever a man more suited to being a high society cat burglar?
Absolutely not, Peter. And I guess
You're carrying a bit too much timber, I know, but that makes you ideal for the role of lookout and getaway driver.
OK. I'm in.
Now, sneak downstairs and fire up the Morris Minor. I'll pack some essential equipment, and, oh, we mustn't forget those cinnamon buns.
Hello?
I think this is him. Ready yourself, Alan.
I couldn't find my air rifle, so I've got that water pistol that I use for chasing away that naughty peacock.
Oh, bloody hell, Alan. Some use you are.
Maureen!
We're closed.
Well, the museum's over.
Let me finish. We're closed to thieves.
Oh, come on, don't judge a book by its cover. And I'm not going nowhere.
What if I need to go to the loo?
You'll have to let me in then.
Fine. cover me, Alan.
Oh, crumbs. I've forgotten to put any water in this pistol. Ah, and the trigger's come off.
I'm watching you, like a hawk. And I know how a hawk watches someone because I've seen one at Westmoreland County Shore. So keep your hands behind your back.
But if my hands are behind my back, then how can I give you these?
Oh, they're nice flowers.
Probably pinched straight from the garden.
Oh, come on. I'm not such a bad guy, really. I'm a former policeman.
I bet you say that to all the old dears before you bash 'em in and go to the post office with their pension books.
Listen, Maureen, I'm just a regular bloke. I like long walks on the beach, meatloaf, the game show Pointless.
Right. Well, I do also happen to think Meatloaf's very underrated. And Pointless is obviously the best show on telly. But I don't like that walks on the beach rubbish. All that sand going in your socks, then in your car. Oh, not for me.
Alan, the kettle on, if you please.
He's not allowed to use the kettle unaccompanied.
Not allowed.
Now, are you buying something or not?
How much would this get me?
Wow. Bloody hell. Haven't seen one of them in a while. Check it isn't fake, Alan.
Well, it looks like a real £10 note, Maureen.
Fine. Go and make this man a cup of tea, Alan. Plenty of milk. He won't be staying long.
Unless you've got something to eat as well. After all, I've got money.
Tom, are the sunglasses strictly necessary? I mean, we're driving to Milton Keynes, not the Florida Keys.
It's the light glinting off the puddles. I've got very sensitive eyes.
Oh, I thought there must be something wrong with your eyes. I've seen people registered blind drive quicker than this.
Oh, so she wants me to put my foot down, does she? Well, here goes nothing. Hold on to your seatbelt, senorita.
Oh. Whoa.
Is that all right?
You're doing 43.
Well, it is a 40-mile-an-hour speed zone, so technically still illegal. Oh, tune. Oh, God, I just love this song.
Where's the CD anyway?
Oh, no, it's not. I think that's just an old CD case from...
Tom and Emma Driving Classics Volume 1.
What? That's a strange name for an album.
Have you made this
No,
song?
I don't think that I
The
could...
title's written in felt.
Oh, I did. Yes, I did make this one. Yes, it was for another Emma that I know.
Right.
She's great. Girl, you would like her.
And she likes this kind of rubbish music, does she?
She does. I don't. I'm going to turn this right down. Oh, God, let's get the radio on instead, will we?
Okay.
Can you please be a little more careful when changing my car's gears, Julian?
Why, you never learnt to drive your own car. Are you sure we're going the right way?
Yes, yes. Though I must say it's become a little harder to read the map since I slipped this over my head.
Oh, is that...
It's a stocking, Julian, to disguise my identity.
Where did you... Is that your wife's?
Yes, that sounds like a sensible explanation. There's one for you, too. I've cut a pair in half. Quite the sacrifice.
I think I'll be all right, Peter.
I must say, what one loses in visibility, one really gains in silkiness. I might start wearing a stocking on my face in important meetings with the trustees. Gosh, just feel that. Let me put it on for you.
I am driving!
Oh, Julian, I really would cover your face if I were you, in case it gets a bit nasty.
Why would it get a bit nasty?
I brought this along as backup. You used one before.
Jesus, Peter!
I mean, technically it's a cavalryman's sword, but it ought to be equally effective on the ground. Old Grandpapa won the VC at Mafeking with this, so it must be a decent bit of kit.
Peter, steady on. I really don't think this is a sword kind of afternoon.
Oh, I quite agree. That's why I brought this, too.
What?
George Pudding's old pepperbox revolver.
Peter!
Made in Birmingham, like all the best firearms.
God, be careful with that.
Oh, yes, you must. It's in a rather obscure caliber, see?
Don't point it at me.
There's only 3 bullets left. It'd be a shame to fire it, really.
We are not firing any guns.
You see, the caliber was never properly adopted, as there were concerns that it was... Wowzers. A little unsafe.
Peter, for God's sake, Peter.
Oh, dear, 2 bullets left. We shall have to change the description card in the display case.
Just put it down, Peter. Put it down.
Is it me, or is there a sudden draft in this motor car?
You just fired a bullet through the windscreen.
Julian, don't get bogged down in the minutiae of life, old chap. Just drive like the wind to Milton Keynes, if indeed that is a place.
again, thanks so much for meeting with us today.
Not at all. Don't mention it. Thanks for coming down.
This looks like a lovely restaurant, Ralph. Very posh. They've even got proper menus.
Sorry, yes. I hope I didn't pick too fancy a restaurant. It's just when you said we should meet for lunch, I thought I'd best book somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Absolutely. This is, no. There don't seem to be any prices next to... Is this a set menu, do you think?
Well, this one's on Plum House, Ralph. Don't worry about that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe not the whole...
That's very kind, thank you. I mean, I'm so in favour of the shopping list being back at Plum House.
You are? But only our curator made it sound
Is
like...
that Peter Knight character?
I'm afraid so.
Well, he rang me the day after I inherited the shopping list. And I was on the verge of suggesting a permanent loan when he started saying such rude, spiteful things about my uncle that I'm afraid it really put my back up a bit.
Yeah, of course, but...
I mean, we hadn't even had the funeral, and Peter threatened to come and play, and I quote, very jolly music on his trombone right by the graveside.
God, I'm so sorry.
Oh, hello.
Hello, are you ready to order?
Well, I'm
I
not
might
quite
go
sure.
for the oysters first, and then... Oh, the special.
Oh, good choice.
We're doing starters, are we? Okay, well, I just think actually it was all sorted. There's a great place down the road we could go have lunch, couldn't we? That's
Tom?
Yeah, just the service station we passed, actually.
Tom, should it? The snails for me, please, and then I'll have the fillet steak.
Right. I'm not massively hungry. Do you have a kids' menu?
Ha! It appears from my casing of the joint that Ralph's place is deserted.
Are they your opera glasses, Peter?
Field glasses. Now, according to Jerry, that's our best point of entry. There.
Sorry, where are you looking? It's hard to work out when you have that stocking over your head.
I'll leap up onto the outbuilding, shin up that drain pipe, and in through that open upstairs window. Now, getting from there up to the attic might be tricky, but I've adapted this old washing line of Maureen's into a trusty grappling hook.
I'm not sure, Peter. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Nonsense, Julian. As they say on the hit parade, time to rock and roll. Watch me clear the fence in 1 bound. Ooh. I might need a little leg up, old chap.
What people don't realise about Meatloaf is he's very theatrical.
But he knows his limits. He'd do anything for love, but he won't do that.
And his music's so full of freedom. Like Bruce Springsteen, you know, how he's always on about crossing the state line.
Oh no, he sounds like he needs some strepsils, does Springsteen. He's too much for me.
Actually, I've had an idea. How do you fancy trying the best cocktails in Cockermouth?
Oh no, not for me cocktails. I tried one at a fundraising night for a stair lift. It tasted like Benylin. Give me a nice glass of Babycham any day.
I'm good mates with Luigi, the owner, and if you like proper grub, then you'll love his steaks.
Cooked right, I hope. I think now to this trend for raw meat. I like it very well done, me.
But these steaks are something else. $7.99 for 2, and they're as big as your head.
All right, then. Yeah, that'll be nice. Let's go to Cockermouth, Jerry. I haven't been out in the big city for such a long time.
I'd like that, Maureen. I'd like that very much.
I've had a look at your cassette player, Maureen. Little bit of isopropyl alcohol on the tape heads, good as new. Bush machines were always rather prone to demagnetising.
Oh, Alan, you're a star. Looks like it's time for a bit of meatloaf. Where's my tape gone?
Oh, he was a bit modern for me, that American fella. Got my wax crackling. Stuck one of my dad's tapes in instead. It was either brass bands or the one he plays to his cows.
Oh, Alan, I wanted a bit of meatloaf with our pudding.
Sorry, Maureen. I've left it down in the cellar.
I told you wouldn't fit in that window.
Just keep pushing, Julian.
After all you said about me being the one carrying the extra timber.
Come on. God's sake, I'm just a round peg in a square hole. Give us a big heave from behind. Steady on, old chap. You're not posting a parcel. The reflexes of a cat. Quick. We got company. Probably another group of British romantic scholars after George Pudding's shopping list. Come on, let's be having you.
What?
I need more muscle. I can't take them all alone.
I can't do it, Peter. I can't. What's that for?
Do the decent thing.
I'm not going to shoot myself on top of an outbuilding in Milton Keynes.
Then for God's sake, man, get a bloody grip. Pull your stocking over your face, come through this window at once, and join me on the landing.
Okay. Okay, you're going to have to give me a pull-in.
Once more onto the breach, dear friend. Now, that's what I call some inspiring leadership from Peter Knight. Right, here goes...
Oh, Now, let me go and get the shopping list for you.
Not at all, Ralph. Thank you for picking such a nice restaurant.
Yes, I didn't even know they had a Michelin-starred restaurant in Milton Keynes. Did you know they charge us for tap water?
Did you hear a noise then?
It sounded like it was coming from upstairs.
Yes, on your landing, listen.
There's definitely someone up there. Do you think it's burglars?
We should call the police.
Well, they won't be here for ages.
We've got to do something.
Like what?
Well, perhaps we can scare them off.
Quiet, Peter, they might hear us. Don't worry, they have no idea we're here. Shh. Although I do now wish I'd visited the lavatory at the service station.
Right, lads, we've got this. Ralph, get behind me. Tom, you're behind Ralph.
Yep, okay.
Here we go.
We could put the heating up and sort of sweat them out, maybe.
Tom, you can hold Ralph's hand if you need to. Right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Julian, they found us. Run one of them through with your sword.
I'm sorry, Peter, I can't do it. I'm going to lock myself in the bathroom.
Some accomplice you made, you cowardly custard.
Get out of my house!
Yeah, we're calling the police.
Stay where you are.
You want some, lads?
Oh.
Hey!
No.
You'll have to catch me first. I thought my rugger days were behind me.
Get his mask off!
Peter.
The curator? You bloody...
Ah, Tom. Emma, sorry, hard to see with those tights over the old fizzog.
And I think we can all guess who ran into the bathroom.
I'm not unlocking the door. Actually, guys, you might need to call for an ambulance. I've tripped over the bidet and I've really hurt my ankle.
So, funnily enough, although it says Bush on the front of the tape recorder, many of its internal workings are actually made by Alba. Believe it or not, the tape heads are licensed from Philips and made for them by Grundig in a factory in Turkey. It's funny, isn't it?
How's that pudding coming along, Maureen?
I'm just making the custard.
I'm boring you, aren't I? Sorry.
No, Alan, you're not boring me. It's just... you know, when you're not as interested in a subject as the person who's talking is.
I know exactly what you mean. My friend's really into microlights and I'm not. I can't stand them. They're just hang gliders that have got above the station. Anyway, he's making me go to a boring talk on them tonight.
Sometimes you just need to tell people where to stick it.
Here we are. Crumble's ready. There's a little bowl for you as well, Alan.
Oh, no, not for me. I'm not one for exotic foods.
I gave him a Muller corner once. He had to pick all the chocolate bowls out.
I think I might just have to go out and get some fresh air, Maureen. That smell of custard's reminding me of Sunday school again. I feel sick.
Now, where were we?
How can you tell the difference between a sprain and a twist? What if it's broken?
Oh, just shut up about your uncle. You're both lucky he decided not to press charges in the end.
I mean, you could have at least done it before we bought him lunch.
What were you thinking? I mean, what were you thinking?
Peter's idea.
Some use you were spineless. Julian the jellyfish.
Yeah, aren't you even going to apologise?
Well, I'm very sorry my car broke down and we're reliant on a lift with you two.
Peter!
Yeah, what happened to your windscreen?
You don't want to know?
Oh, yes. Where did I leave my revolver?
You what?
Oh, I've said it before and I'll say it again. There is nothing like washing your face in a bird bath. Oh, flippin' heck. It's old Bill. Out of the custard pan and into the fire.
So I'll come and pick you up around 6.
Could we make it a bit later? I'd like to watch Pointless first before I get ready.
Old Bill's here. Everybody hide.
Old Bill? Where?
Coming down the drive. I'm going back down the cellar. Lock me in.
Maureen, I've got to go. They found me.
Wait!
I'm sorry, I don't have time to explain. Cockermouth will have to wait.
When are you coming back?
I can't, it's too risky. I've got to go further north. Dumfries and Galloway, maybe. Cross the state line like Springsteen.
I always was more into meatloaf.
I'm just going to get a few supplies. For the journey, for the road.
Well, whatever you need.
Yeah. I'll have this stick of rock. Thanks, Maureen.
So that's 1 stick of rock. Oh, and you have the cheese and onion pie.
Yeah.
Crumble.
Hurry that a
custard.
bit, Maureen.
Oh, and a brew too.
Right.
That'll be $7.98.
Yeah, well, take it out that tenner. They've probably got the whole museum surrounded. Goodbye, Maureen.
Oh, Maureen. What a bloody fool you've been.
I finally got through to Ralph and apologised again.
What did he say?
Well, he seemed a bit calmer, but he's still definitely putting the shopping list up for auction.
What a dreadful fellow, just like his uncle.
Well, perhaps we could still bid.
Yeah, but using Julian and Peter's own money.
Steady on.
Julian's right. I'm afraid that list will fetch mucho moolah.
Ooh, how much are we talking?
An absolute fortune, probably as much as, I don't know, maybe
30,000
pounds?
30 quid.
You drove to Milton Keynes to steal a shopping list worth £30.
Ralph had turned down Peter's very reasonable original offer.
I wasn't going above £12.50 for any man. I mean, it is only a shopping list after all.
I just do not believe this. I mean, our petrol alone must have cost
Well,
us...
forget the petrol. That lunch cost nearly 200 quid.
And don't forget, we still have to recover my dear old Morris Minor. Has someone telephoned a garage?
Oh, and Jerry. Don't forget Jerry.
Oh, why, we mustn't forget Jerry's consultancy fees.
Where is Jerry?
Oh, he's long gone by now.
Well, I hope he didn't steal anything from you, Maureen.
He took something all right. Something I don't think I'll be getting back in a hurry.
Well, I've had an absolutely fantastic day.
Oh, really, Alan?
Oh, yes. I took that Jerry's advice, and after old Bill found me hiding behind those crates in the cellar, I finally told him where to stick his talk on microlights. So, I've got an entire evening to do what I really want to do.
Go fishing? Is that why you're wearing waders?
Empty the septic tank. It's backed up like you would not believe. Any volunteers want to get in on the fun? I could really do with a hand.
I can think of 2 unwilling volunteers for you, Alan.
Oh, no, please, no.
Julian, I fear we're about to be press-ganged. Run for it!
Don't think we won't catch you!
Go faster, Julian!
Oh, my bad ankle!
You'd better be running to get changed, Peter.
I'm sorry about Jerry, Maureen.
Oh, don't worry, Alan. It wasn't your fault. Well, it was really, but I don't blame you. These things happen.
Thanks, Maureen. Anyway, I'd better go and find a clothes peg for my nose.
And at least we'll always have meatloaf. Oh, bloody hell! Alan! The machine's gone again! House was written by Ben Cottam and Paul McKenna. It starred Simon Callow, Jane Horrocks and Miles Jupp, with Tom Bell, Piers Quigley and Louise Ford. Jerry was played by Danny Webb and Ralph by Ed Easton. It was produced by Sarah Cartwright and directed by Paul Schlesinger. It was a hat-trick production for BBC Radio 4.
Thank you for joining us this evening. It's been a crowded 3 hours, and we'll simply say good night. So until next time, sleep tight. This is a production of Lobato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.